Hello!
We're back.
We're back.
After a
week.
after a brief stint on the casualty ward by yours truly, we have returned. I was injured.
Yes, literally.
Terms of injury are about as vague as all of the Panthers' injury reports, I'm going to say.
Yeah.
Well, we're not actually going to go into that. I hope Panthers keep being bad.
It's funny when Panthers just say, oh yeah, this guy has an injury to his leg, which is, half
And
your
your
body.
That's a big thing.
That's half your body. Stupid. Anyway, you know what else was stupid?
Origin.
Yeah, Origin's stupid.
That was bad.
Yeah, it was bad.
That was bad. Queensland were very, very bad.
There's not much really to say about that.
Yeah, Queensland were bad.
Apart from that
These
big-
weren't.
They weren't great, but they didn't need to be because Queensland were really poor.
If you're going to penalty try, and I'm going to stick by that.
Yeah, it probably should have been.
Should have been a penalty try. Both scores that if he
Look,
doesn't get tackled in the end.
It probably should have been. But I don't think the scoreline changes that much, to be
No, I
honest.
think probably stays about
It stays the same because, yes, they get a try, but then New South Wales aren't down to 12 in the first 10 minutes of the second half.
Yeah.
So the Nanite try probably doesn't happen. So it's
Even
sliding doors, but it probably didn't mean much because Queensland didn't deserve to win this game anyway.
Mine was probably the best player on park.
Queensland.
Yeah.
I'd say that's probably fair. He didn't have competition on Queensland.
It was recalled by Robert Toyle. He was also
Toyle
bad.
for his first go wasn't bad. He kept Latrell relatively
I
quiet.
thought the Coates played fairly well as well.
Coates, he ran 172.
He just did Xavier Coates things. He just did his job.
Did what he needed to do. Oh,
Yeah.
Queensland showed a couple of really cool, like fairly early on, they went to the right and actually had some joy running down there, but then they stopped doing that.
Because they're stupid.
Yeah, that was just bad.
I mean, for those that made breaks of 20 and 30 metres upfield.
The bench forwards came on and they lost all of the punch. Because when you bring on Trent Loiero, that's going to happen.
For his debut, I guess, and his part.
But he's not even that sort of forward, though.
You need another.
He's tackle bot.
You need another punchy forward off the bench.
Yeah.
Corey Horsburgh.
I would bet good money he's playing Origin.
Oh, he has to be, right? As long as he's not injured, he'll play.
Yeah. The thing that annoyed me the most about what Billy Slater did was the lack of Beau Fermor.
15 minutes of both of them was not enough.
It's not enough. That's not the kind of player he is. He is the kind of player that will be solid for you for a good amount of time and let the punchy guys do their job. He should be starting with Nanai. I think that would work. And then you can bring Cotter off the bench as a middle forward because that's what you need right now.
Rid of both for Waika and put
Not necessarily.
Cotter in the middle.
Why would you get rid of Mo?
What did he do?
Did more than Trent Loiero did, in my opinion.
Yeah, but we're going to start Cotter in the because he plays middle for his club.
He plays middle for his club, but he is also, by trade, a number 9. So if you're really hell-bent on not bringing Reid Marnie in, you start him on the bench, and he can be both middle cover and cover for Harry Grant, if you're going to do that.
That's probably fair.
Why you wouldn't want to bring Reid Marnie in? Him and Corey Horsburgh would make the biggest mongrel group.
Yeah, him, Munster. Yeah, Horsburgh, Marnie, and Munster would be a recipe for
Against like Leniu and Martin
Yeah,
and
that'd be fun.
Latrell.
That'd be a lot of fun.
That'd be a lot of
actually.
fun. That'd be fun.
Yeah.
Nice stuff.
Billy Slater is allergic to fun, though, unfortunately.
Well, it's coming down to it. Look, we always know that good players don't necessarily make good coaches. And Billy won his first 2 series, I think, but now he's struggled in the last one and this one so far. So it comes back to haunt you, right? So,
well, now
if you're not picking, although to be fair,
Well, it's because last year he had Mike Maguire, who knows what to do when he has the right personnel. That's what he does. And now you have Laurie Daly, who isn't a bad coach. He was just stuck in the middle of the greatest Origin team ever assembled.
yeah, but he also,
He didn't have a bad team, Berchance, but he had to play Trent Hodgkinson at 9. That tells me all I need to know about how good
that might have been for 1 year. I mean, this is the thing.
Who else was the number 9s for New South Wales during that time?
Danny Medeiros, I suppose, was there for a short time.
Like Robbie Farah barely played Origin. He should have, but he never did.
I think Trent Hodgkinson more played number 6 or 7. Look, New South Wales always have more people to choose from, and the Queensland stocks are really, really low thanks to injuries and whatever else. So I think
Injured right now, though.
well,
Queensland.
Murray Talangi's obviously out.
Right, but that's outside back, which they actually have quite a wealth of, to be fair.
Of Origin standard. Left.
I'd be happy to put either Xavier Savage or Lofty Pereira there. They're Origin standard players, in my opinion.
Muzz is playing this round, right?
Muzz should be back this week, no?
No, he's not. So he may not be playing Origin 2 either.
Oh,
He's finally run out of his Wolverine.
we may as well just
Throw in.
Queensland may as well throw in the towel.
They
We've
need-
got no stocks. Look, Lofty is too young. He's not going to.
Robert Toya.
I know, but I think Robert Toy is a little bit more solid. Lofty's got too many mistakes in him.
Okay, counter argument. Hamaso debuted at the exact same age as Robert Toya, who has the exact same problem that you're saying Lofty has.
Yes, that doesn't mean I think Hamaso played well. I thought he was very average. And, you know,
No, I'm just saying that's not,
Yeah.
it's not outside Billy's selection ideals to do that.
no, and I'm not saying it is, but yeah, I don't know. Canberra, and
say-
Coveney's now injured, so
Put Selwyn Cobbo out there, honestly.
I don't think he's going to. Selwyn's made enemies of Billy Slater, I think. So
Billy Slater makes enemies of people. I think it's the other way around.
not always. Some people need to be able to, you know.
That
Hey,
Terry
sorry,
Evans should not be
minutes,
playing next.
Daly will be.
Here's the problem, right? Daly against Brisbane was immense.
Exactly. Daly has the scapegoat of Origin. His forward pack was decimated. Like New South Wales bulldozed Queensland. That's just how it is. Even with Tino being back, who was supposed to be the big saviour of Queensland's
I think,
forward
to
pack,
be fair,
did not
however,
work.
he did nullify Payne Huss a little bit. Payne Huss wasn't his rampaging best on Wednesday night.
He won man of the match.
I know, I don't know how.
He ran for 156 metres. He broke
So the coach ran for 172.
He's a winger. They're expected to do that now. Okay, well, by your standard, then Brian Toto was the best player on the field.
Right, I ran the most meters.
He ran 225.
Who broke the most tackles?
That's a good question, actually. I don't know. Oh, it was Nathan Cleary. He broke like 10.
Oh, yeah.
So that doesn't work.
Yeah, but I don't know. Look, they're going to give it to Payne Huss anyway. He gets fantasy points for breathing. So
He's a great
I'm
player.
not saying he isn't, but I don't think that was one of his best performances. He was
It didn't need to be. That's
No.
the thing.
but him getting man of the match, a bit iffy.
I don't know who else I would have given it to be honest.
Chris Robson.
Probably not, and not their second rowers because I don't think Liam Martin did.
They didn't really do much.
Yeah.
Or Mitch Barnett.
Maybe, I don't know. Cleary would be
Mitch Moses or Cleary, Yo did what he needed to. See, they all did what they needed to do.
See, Isaiah Young Origin's really weird because at club level, he's like, he plays 80 minutes. He's always the lock. He is amazing. But in Origin, he only ever plays 55, 60 minutes max. So his role is reduced, so you don't notice him as much.
Yeah.
Whereas when it comes to people like Payne Haas and Nathan Cleary, whose roles are basically the same at club level and Origin level, then it scales better. You notice that they still keep the same level of play against higher level competition.
I like to say, I had one of my best tipping rounds. I tipped 6 out of 8 correctly.
There weren't. There were 8 technically
The
with
Origin.
Origin as well. I don't count that.
I got 6 out of 7 because I got Origin on anyway.
Yeah.
I got it right because I got the tip.
I got it wrong because I forgot to tip.
Because yours tipped Queensland because I think you've got yours on home
I
ground.
don't know what my
I've got one favourite, therefore New South Wales got the tip. Look, I don't know what Queensland the answer is. The answer is they need to get some mongrel in their pack.
I think Corey Horsburgh is
Horsburgh.
it's the obvious answer. Like it seems to be the only correct answer.
Where is Carpeting from?
New Zealand.
New Zealand.
He's
New
the
Zealand.
captain of the Kiwi squad.
Yeah. Yeah.
No. I've written down what I think is realistic to happen and what I would like to see happen because those are two different things.
Yeah.
So my thought process is start Bo Firmer on the edge, play Ruben Cotter off the bench. I've talked about that.
Yeah,
before.
yeah.
I think Cotter is versatile enough that he can do that. And Fermor can shift out to a centre. And then you can put Cotter back on the edge if you want to. Anyway, that's fine by me. If Muzz comes back, because I wrote this before all the team list stuff came out that Muzz wasn't playing. If he's back, you put Val to centre and drop Hamaso, in my opinion.
Hammer was one of the weakest on the
Really
field.
poor.
Yeah.
And I don't think he matches up against Stephen Crichton very well at all. He was trounced.
Kalen Ponga might be in trouble as well. He was pretty
The
ordinary.
issue with Kalen Ponga is that, yes, he was poor, but there was no one banging down the door for his spot.
Yeah. The only person they could have got now has made himself available for England, so therefore can't play.
Unless you want to take in Canada.
That's possible.
Or you go the really left field
Is
option.
also English.
You go the really left field option, which I have as unrealistic, but what I would like to see happen is you put Jai Gray back there.
Yeah.
I would like to see Jai Gray play Origin. I think he would work.
It would be interesting.
And matched up against flipping Dylan Edwards.
Yeah.
Trippy Jackson, let's go, but I'm happy with him being.
But Dylan Edwards also had a pretty strong game, to be fair.
I think that Trent Liero is the one you drop for Corey Horsburgh, in my opinion. You need more punch. Trent Liero is the opposite of that. He's the opposite of punch.
We've got enough tackle bots. We need somebody who can go forward.
Exactly.
Like forward, you know.
Exactly my point, yeah.
He did okay, but he wasn't helped by many people. Carrigan had a pretty off night. You know.
I would drop Harry Grant for Reed Marnie, but the issue there is that it was Harry Grant's first game in like 7 weeks, so he can be rusty. That's okay with me. Maybe he will get better come Origin.
Every game that Harry Grant has started in Origin, Queensland have lost.
Yes.
No matter whether he was fit or not.
Okay, well then the easy answer is
Reed Marnie.
Yes.
Or Ben Hunt.
He's injured.
Is he still injured?
I think he is.
If he was healthy, he would be a logical choice.
I would put him at 9, absolutely.
Yeah.
And then let Harry Grant come off the bench.
Drop Dean, he's not 14.
I don't think Deaton's going anywhere, unfortunately.
Which is stupid.
I've put him getting dropped in my unrealistic idea. Because I would drop him because he didn't really do much, in my opinion.
Yeah,
At least with the role he was given, it didn't really work.
playing his position.
He wasn't horrible. He just didn't have a chance to do anything. You know.
Because we're playing with 3 halves on the field. It can get confusing.
Yeah.
I'd be fine with dropping him. I'd put Kurt Mann in because he's been in the Origin arena before. He's a very, very good player. If you need the Trent Liero type, he's probably a better option than Trent Liero. That would be my idea.
There are other options, I guess. And I was talking to one of my teacher friends at school.
Burko?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
And look, there are definitely other options. Ponga wasn't great, so other options are to put Munster at fullback.
I don't think so. I don't think he
did, and it's 6.
Munster couldn't keep up at fullback anymore. I don't think with all of the groin injuries he's had, it's too risky.
Well, then, like you say, Jai Gray, maybe Jaden Campbell could be a thing.
I think they'll just keep having Ponga back.
Well, I think that's a mistake.
I think it's a mistake, but there's really no one else unless you watch this week. And if Reece Walsh has a blinder, you put him back in.
Every time he's come into Origin, he's done nothing. Why would you put him back in there? Besides get knocked out by someone.
Besides, almost get to
Yeah, well, that's because they're against 12 players for the whole game, minus 7 minutes.
Yeah, and my completely left field option, which will never happen because Daly Cherry Evans has this jersey locked up forever.
He's a million years old.
You drop Daly Cherry Evans, you put Jamal Fogarty in.
Yes!
Fogs is fit. I mean, why was he dropped from the last
He had like a minor groin complaint. He was running fine. His kicking was a little bit which is why Sticky rested him. I would put him there.
We noticed it actually for New South Wales. Moses had a bit of an issue with his kicking also on the weekend. He gave the goal kick. No, he didn't goal kick anyway, but he didn't do a lot of the big kicks. Even that was left to like Dylan Brown and stuff like that.
Well, I can understand trying to manage him after Origin. That's fine.
I can point out,
I saw it. Sorry, go.
You said Lomax was the goal kicker, right?
Yeah.
Clearly kicked most of them and missed
Lomax
most
is
of
the
them.
goal kicker for Parramatta, which is what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Yes, you look at the goal kicker.
There was one goal out of the entire
That's
thing.
one stat that Queensland were better. They're like 50%. New South Wales were like 10 or something.
Lomax got a hook to kick to the left.
I think it was 20. I think they were 1 from 5.
I think you're right. Cleary got 1 from 4 and then Lomax got none. So
there's the fun conspiracy theory that the
balls were crap, but yeah.
I don't think that's true. I think it's sucked.
They did on the night, that's for sure. Then Cleary comes in and kicks everything on the weekend. So, I mean,
Yeah, I don't know.
He just didn't, I think the commentator was saying he needs to pack those boots up and put them in his Origin bag
Yeah,
because the ones he took to Origin didn't work.
I think
Do you think the Penrith trainer was there? He probably let the ball into us.
very, very funny. So, look, for me, I think Queensland's big thing is revamp pack. That's what they need to do because otherwise the game two will go exactly the way game one did. They need to fix the forwards. The backs, I'm okay if they stay the same because that combination has done a job before. I don't mind if it stays that way. It's the
The
forwards
only
that
changes
changes.
is possibly if Murray is fit, he walks straight back into the team.
Yeah, well, then you've got essentially the same crew that won. Well, did they win last year? No, they didn't win last year. But they
Won the
won
first
the limit last year. So I'd be fine if the backs stay the same. They need to fix the forwards. If the forwards are the same, it's over.
But once again, the problem is once New South Wales have way more stocks. I mean, with Barnett being out, they've got any number of people who can just jump in.
That's the thing. They got to pick the second best option of a particular archetype in Max King,
Yeah.
and he was good. I thought Max King played fairly well. He went over 100 metres along with, I think, 4 of the other New South Wales forwards.
I mean, Queensland had
Who, yeah, it wasn't great. That's the big thing. You look at that as a New South Wales were better through the forwards. That's how they won that game.
well, they had a high percentage of the ball.
New South Wales change anything? Well, they have
They
to.
have to have won a lot, but it depends, I guess, if there's any injuries that happen on the weekend.
Latrell in a 10. He's big enough.
You could put him in the second row. I wouldn't hate putting Latrell in the second row. You can play him as almost like a Josh Schuster type, maybe.
Yeah.
What will happen is that either King starts or King doesn't start, stays on the bench, and they just chuck Stefano in because he was the prop on the extended bench. It should be Trelane, but it's not. I don't think it will be, ever.
Yeah.
It's like the David Fafita thing with Billy Slater.
I wonder why, because Trelane is a doozy of a player.
It's forward in the competition. It's stupid.
Let's not put him in the best game, although supposedly the best game of rugby league in the world.
Brandon Smith complained that it was the worst Origin he's ever watched.
It wasn't good.
It didn't have the build-up.
There was no build-up. The game itself was flat.
Well, my reasoning for the lack of build-up is because the entire rugby league news cycle was dominated by all the Lucky Galvin crap, which is finally over. Thank goodness.
Good as we can get.
Free of that.
Phil Gould is a big fat hairy liar. No, we're not interested in Lachlan Galvin.
Maybe they weren't. Maybe they weren't at that point. And they were just like, oh, maybe this is a good idea. Anyway.
Queensland, you need to revamp a little bit. I know you're going to be concerned about this pick and stick mentality, but if you pick and stick, you're going to be whitewashed 3-0.
Exactly.
Blue washed or whatever you want to do.
Whatever you want to call it. Also, shout out to the women's player of the match, Mackenzie Wheel.
Yay!
It's relative.
Yes, in fact,
Somehow.
I think, well, they're related to my mum somewhere. I think like a second or third cousin.
Really?
There you go.
Yeah,
She played very well.
She played very well.
145 metres, 57 post contact, or something like that.
Queensland didn't get swept.
No, they didn't. That's what they need to play every single game at Newcastle because New South Wales can't win there, apparently.
Funny, isn't it?
We beat them.
That's the captain of New South Wales who apparently doesn't know how to score a try.
Well, I think every men's Origin should be played at Adelaide because Queensland don't lose there.
I guess we'll see what happens in Perth next.
Queensland have not won an Origin.
I don't know. Well, there's been 3, haven't there? Yeah, there's been 3 and they've lost all of them.
Fun.
And it's been by a decent margin.
Yeah, it hasn't been.
Never bring another Origin up here. That was awful.
Yeah, hopefully they never have to because it means that the world is shutting down again.
Yeah, look, Townsville performed a function for the NRL that year.
Yeah.
I mean, they needed to have 3. They had 3 in Queensland, and Queensland still lost the series, which was very stupid. But anyway, and that's Origin.
Actual football now. There are 7 games this week, starting with 2 really boring ones, to be honest. First up, Dragons Knights, which was a nothing burger.
I do like the picture of Dragons being Knights. At least it has a bit of a yes, it's not bad.
But it's kind of boring.
The Dragons will win.
Like they would win life.
Dragons did win, and they were okay.
They were fine. Newcastle are terrible. That's my big take.
Newcastle are awful. Probably back up.
And they did back up, so they had Sharp at fullback, which shouldn't be that bad because Sharp is an excellent player.
He's a full.
He was a fullback by trade. Yeah. So
But they're bad.
Very
Not
bad.
that bad, and it gets worse because now Leo Thompson was suspended for 4 games, and he was the only reason their forward pack was any decent, and now it's
When
gone.
they've got to learn how not to fall on people's necks, I guess.
Yeah, that's a lot
It is
recently, isn't it?
yeah.
It's quite strange.
It's gone away from the shoulder to the head, and now it's onto the neck.
Yeah, you need to damage the head somehow.
They can't run without them.
Oh, this is true.
You just can't run without your legs.
Yeah, but
We don't tackle the legs.
Head's gone funny.
Look, I thought Kaikus Paul was good in this game. He has been
Yeah,
for quite a bit of this year, actually. He's been pretty good. Leo Thompson was good, despite the fact that he got suspended. I thought in the game, he played quite well. And actually, no, I forgot to write this. Dan Gago was amazing. He should be playing Origin again. Put him back in.
That's the other thing. I think you probably should.
I think he should.
More mongrel. See?
Yeah, exactly.
More mongrel.
If
Go back to Queensland football.
Talangi,
Punch Matt Burton's stupid face in again.
if Talangi doesn't make it back, put Gagai in the centres. Get rid of him aside.
Like, yeah.
Yeah, I'd be happy with that.
Because I think Robert Toy deserves his spot.
I thought he did well, especially because you gave him the assignment of marking up Origin Latrell Mitchell, and he did a good job. Besides the one amazing pass that Latrell threw, that's about it. That's all he did the entire game.
Yeah, and that can be down to Toy.
And that could be down to Robert Toyer being a very good defensive centre.
Yes,
because he is.
and he also beats tackles as well. So
Yeah.
this is the thing.
I agree.
I think he could have centre locked up for a little while if he continues that way.
The other centre is going to be the fun spot because there are a few people vying for that jersey. I think you should put Gagai in because he's been good this year.
Yeah. His defence needs to probably be a little better, but he breaks a million tackles a
It's
game.
hard.
Yeah.
It's really hard in contact.
He just loves Queensland as well. So put him in. You know, that's another option. We don't have many, so we're going to start looking at what they got.
Something, yeah.
But this game, it didn't go to any great heights. I think Valentine Holmes, did he back up?
Holmes did back up and made 4 errors.
He was
He had a
bad.
bad game.
Yeah.
Yeah, back in. The Dragons are a weird
That's
team.
Robert Derby levels of bad.
The Dragons are a really weird team. I don't like. They're playing fine. I thought in
Are
the
they
game.
sitting in the 8? Or
They are currently sitting in the 8 because of all the bike crap on those guys, which is stupid.
We're in 6.
we are, but we'll get to that.
We'll get to that later. But yeah, the Dragons are strange. They played competent this week. Maybe that's a function of them playing against Newcastle, but yeah, I mean they were fine. They completed at 77%. They only missed 18 tackles.
Yeah, but I mean, that could also be down to the fact that Newcastle are really, really bad.
Exactly.
Can't throw any attack at them.
For how bad Newcastle were, the Dragons should have won this at 30.
Yeah.
There's a lot to be desired with this team, especially because of, like, you wanted more out of the half, so you drop Lockie Ilias and bring in the young King Togia, who hasn't really done anything that Ilias didn't
You
do.
may as well put Ilias back.
You may as well put Ilias back in. He at least has another long kicking game as a secondary option.
Give me 1 second.
You've got to get a drink. That's okay.
Running away from us.
But
It's like Kalen Pong is going to run away on the Knights at the end of the year when Adam O'Brien is fired. It is. The writing is on the wall for Adam O'Brien, in my opinion. And a few of these players, actually. There is going to be a
the
wrong
Knights
play
have
now.
been very, very disappointing this year. I mean, they made the finals last year. They're not going to do
They
that.
made the finals 4 out of the past 5 years,
Yeah.
but no one talks about it because they never do anything.
Yeah. First weekend, zoop, knocked out.
Because didn't they beat the Raiders last? No, the year before?
I think they made second weekend.
Yeah, they made second week 1 of the years. They beat the Raiders, I remember, because Dominic Young had that really long-range try. It was 23, I think that was.
Right.
He's back.
He's returned with hydration.
Yes.
So, yeah, there wasn't much to talk about that game. Luciano was okay.
Look, you'll point at the stats and say, oh yeah, Toby Couchman's back. The couch has been taken off of eBay and played very well in the second row, played the full game, ran 160 meters. He was really, really good. He got through unscathed. His shoulder looked fine. That's great for them.
Yeah.
However, my favourite performance from the Dragons in this game was David Clemmer. He was really good.
What was his stat line like?
He played the entire first half straight and 10 into the second
I
half.
just remember
He
that.
played 50 minutes. He ran 15 times for 175 meters and was 33 tackles, no misses. Vintage David Clemmer in this game. It was great.
Leading up to this game, previous games, he's been doing pretty
Not
well.
much.
Nothing.
Exactly.
Like he runs up and falls down. That's all there
It's
is.
good to see that signing pan out for them because a lot of them really haven't.
It's taken a while, but yes, it's finally
Damien Cook, I thought was also excellent in this game, but that's Damien Cook.
Yeah.
He's just who he is.
I think Damien Cook should be playing there.
The only concern for mine for this game for the Dragons was the backs. All back 7 of them weren't great. They combined for every single one of the team's errors, including, unfortunately, debutant Nathan Lawson, who played well. I thought he was fine. It annoyed me. Oh, the most annoying thing about this broadcast was all of the talk. They were talking about that Fletcher Hunt guy on Newcastle like he was the second coming of Israel Folau. And I don't think he made one good catch off the high ball. Nathan Lawson was better under the high ball than he was. It was really annoying. Really. It was quite annoying.
Well, I'm sorry, but they've got too many Fletchers in their team now. They don't need all the blue make flights for Arrow.
It's like all the Ethans on Canberra.
Even strange. Even Baltimore is
Well, they've got 3 Ethans, and then they've got the Martin triplets. They could make up half their team by just people with 2 names.
Lovely.
It'd be great. They just need Ethan Martin, and then it'll all be complete.
No.
7 Dragon Balls.
Yeah, well.
It'd be fun.
Okay, so
I don't know.
great.
Look, yeah, this game wasn't great. The Dragons won, which is good for them. Newcastle lost, which is bad for them, and they're only getting worse.
Yeah, they could push for the spoon this
I
year.
think, in my opinion, they are the favourites for the spoon right now. Them and the Titans.
well, Penrith.
Yeah, Penrith have just started to.
Unfortunately, Penrith's personnel is too good for mine for them to get the
They
spoon.
won't get the spoon. Whether they make the 8 is a bit more debatable.
It's a really interesting one. So it's like they're technically only 1 win outside the top 8 right now. That's the thing. They're 1 win outside the 8 and they're sitting in 14th or whatever it is. That's how close that log jam from 6th to about 15th is. So
And that's not coming because of the buys, right?
I'm
I mean,
barely ruling anybody out at this point outside Newcastle.
I'd probably still rather be somebody in the 8 than somebody out of the 8.
Oh, yeah, I'd rather be the Roosters right now than I'd be Penrith,
Yeah.
but I'm not ruling them out at all.
No, I'd like to.
I'm not ruling out Dragons either. I think they have the personnel to make a push for the top 8. I will not be surprised if they make
Yeah,
it.
I think the Knights are in trouble though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Knights are in big trouble.
Yep.
I guess we'll see if they can turn something around. They need to fix Caleb Bonner. That's the big thing. Fix Caleb Bonner.
He's not working. He's broken.
He's broken.
He's very broken.
Turning him off and on again.
Yeah, that might be a thing to do. Anyway, we're stopping his.
You had him set in demo mode. Yeah, it's bad. Another bad game was Titans Storm.
It was definitely a game.
It was certainly one of the games of our time.
Yes.
It was very boring.
Pretty
It
average.
was very wet.
Yeah.
Look, Melbourne were bad in this game. Especially that first half. They were really, really poor.
That speaks
How
volumes.
bad
All
the
the
Titans were.
Titans are going. Yeah.
It's unfortunate. Jaden Campbell needs some help, man. He was involved in every single point the Titans scored. He scored a try, set up 2, and kicked all the
Oh,
goals.
there you go.
He did everything, and no one else did anything. And I feel sorry for him. I truly, truly do. They need Keanu Keeney back badly.
Yeah.
They really need him back, especially now that AJ Brimson is out for at least another week, and Jalen DeGroot, the backup fullback, was out as well with, I think, a sprained ankle or something. That's why Jaden was playing fullback. Yeah, it was so lead up. Look, they only lost by 12, which could be worse with how they're going this year, to be fair.
It looks like Melbourne did what they had to do. It was a wet game, obviously. It wasn't going to be a big score game.
Melbourne, yeah, you watched the first half of that game. Melbourne were poor.
Yeah.
But it was the Titans were in front until like the final 5 minutes, where it was intercept thrown, which led to far longer try, and then just falling asleep at the wheel right before the siren leads to the Tyron Wishart try, and then it was over.
Yeah.
So it's rough for the Titans.
It was 28-16.
28-16 was the final score. Yeah, it was just I don't remember much of this game, to be honest. I watched it. I didn't have a choice. I was stuck at home.
Yeah.
Yeah,
look, it wasn't.
Look, the Origin boys who backed up did fine. I thought Bo Fermor played really well, but he should be fine because he only played 15 minutes.
Yes.
Tino was okay.
He would have been a bit tired.
That's all I can say. He was okay.
And look, you expect that backing up from a game of Origin, even though it wasn't
Yeah, because the thing you're expecting when it comes to the Titans is flashy attacking football. Defense is thrown to the wind. They can't score points. And if you can't defend and can't score points, you're not going to win very many games.
And 16 is not enough. You're not going to win games scoring 16.
Des needs to pick a lane and go all in.
Des was ripping his hair out. And that's pretty sad because he's got a good head of hair.
Very good head of hair. I'll be surprised if it's there from the end of the season.
He was always known for his
He'll be wearing a two
flowing lock.
He has good hair.
He does have good hair.
Melbourne, the only real standout for mine was far longer.
But he is such a good player.
Two tries, he did all he had to do, and Eli Katoa was his self, which is good because he's a great player.
They have the best second row combination in the league, I would suggest.
Yeah, it was.
Cowboys have a good one as well, but not as good as that.
I'd put the Sharks one pretty close. I think the combo of Wilton and Nikita is very, very good.
Nikora, yes. Teague isn't the
Also,
same.
the Bulldogs, I think, have to be in that conversation with Kickout and Preston. That's pretty good.
When they're on.
Well, Preston's always on.
Yeah, well,
Kickout can be in and out, that's fair. This is just Storm doing what they had to do. They played like crap and won, and the Titans were worse, and now are sitting in last.
Yeah.
So this game told us essentially nothing. It's not over yet.
The Titans are not finishing in top 8.
It's not over yet. There are a lot of bad teams this year. They could very easily go on a run like they did last year, really. It's just the run ended. Hopefully it doesn't end this time.
You're telling yourself that.
The Gold Coast are toast, unfortunately.
And speaking of stupid teams,
Oh my word.
the North Queensland Cardiac Cowboys.
Which is why I didn't see much of the Tigers game.
I am both extremely glad and extremely mad. I'm very glad and mad that I wasn't at this game. That first 60 minutes was amazing.
They should have won by.
They did the opposite thing of what they usually do. They played 60 good minutes of football and then played 15 minutes of bad football and almost lost. Which is the exact opposite of what we're used to for the Cowboys.
Yeah.
This is a good thing. They're playing more good football. But they're bad football. It was
At
bad.
least they were able to score some points this week, unlike against Manly.
Toa was a second coming of Benji Marshall.
He must have. I have
He
to.
broke 14 tackles.
I have to think that in a past life he was killed in the Wild West based on his hatred of Cowboys. I have to think that's what's happened because there is no reason that this guy who, for the past 3 years, has been one of the most injury-prone players, comes out every year against the Cowboys and turns into prime Mal Meninga. It doesn't make any sense. I don't get it.
Broke 4 tackles in one play that's led to a try. He's just, I don't know. He was the difference for the Tigers. If he doesn't play the Cowboys, it's probably
I'm going to give full credit to Heath Mason because I have no faith in him.
Yeah.
He played really well.
Very good.
He's very fast.
They signed him for He's pretty good.
I hope it works for the Tigers. I'm glad he wasn't quite good enough to
You
get
see,
them
now,
over the line.
now they've got competition for that 6 jersey because I was under the impression for 90% of this year that it was Larchie Finder's jersey to lose. As soon as the Galvin stuff happened, I was like, yeah, it's Larchie Finder's jersey. Then he got injured, and I thought, okay, Heath Mason's just a placeholder. And he comes out and does this, and he's named again at 5'8" this week, and all of a sudden...
I think we need to hold off on jumping up and down too much to see how he goes this week.
Yeah, well, he's not going to play the defensive juggernaut that's the Cowboys every week.
Defense. What defense? What's that?
We have just as good defense as the Raiders, points-wise. So, in reality, we're actually in second place.
Defense.
That's if the Raiders have scored 100 more points than this.
Good old Johnny Bateman getting his first try and kill.
No,
I give credit to Johnny Bateman.
he's been good the last.
He was really good. He had a chip on his shoulder this week, obviously, coming up against a former team where he had a not very amicable exit.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was good to see him actually really put in.
Jackson Polo on his Cowboys.
Jackson Polo, not too bad, but he had a couple of iffies as well.
Yeah, I thought defensively he was... Out of yardage, he was great.
He ran a lot of meters.
He ran a lot of
200 meters or something.
280 meters.
Yeah, that's right. It was 279. Yeah, he was the second, and that was only good enough to be the second furthest in the week.
So, I mean, he's only like might even be third at this point. I don't remember. I'd have to
I
read.
do know that there was a guy by the name of Charms who ran
He ran a lot.
340.
We'll get to him.
Yeah.
In terms of other Tigers, Terrell May did his usual stick.
Yeah, but I don't think he was as effective as
He
he
was
normally
offloaded.
is.
Yeah,
He
offloaded.
offloaded
Which
well.
is strange against the Cowboys, who notoriously don't know how to wrap up the ball. But, he still did his usual thing of run for over 200 meters
Yeah.
and tackle 50
Oh,
times.
look, he's a good player. And he probably has a point to prove because he wants to play Origin.
Yeah, the Tigers are by no means a bad team.
No.
Which means they will probably make the 8 if that last 20 minutes is how they play for the rest of the year.
Everything,
Good football.
everything they threw stuck.
Yeah,
It didn't
it looked really, really good.
The Cowboys couldn't wrest back that momentum until the last 2 or 3 minutes, and that's when it sort of stagnated, and the Tigers couldn't get any more points.
Exactly.
Thank goodness, because
And see, that's everything good for the Tigers happened within 20 minutes. Everything good for the Cowboys happened within the first 60 minutes, which was all led by maybe, possibly, probably not, I don't know, whatever Tom Deaton's role is going to be in Origin in the next couple of years.
he actually had a really good
He
game.
played very, very well.
Even Jackson Purdue didn't have a bad one.
Look, I think that's a good sign.
Yeah.
He looked better with passing the ball and with kicking this week because he's had another couple of weeks training in the halves now. Hopefully, as Todd said, he will just continue to get better in this role because if he does, I will have no qualms with it. It's a strange time to do it, but if it works out,
I have a scoop.
what's your scoop?
My scoop is I heard from somebody who knows somebody in the Cowboys as to why Jackson Purdue is now the halfback.
Todd Payton got a tap on the shoulder from the higher-ups of the Cowboys.
No.
Surely.
It was his agent. He said if he doesn't play 7 or 6, he's going to go look for other clubs.
Well, yeah, he probably would, to be fair.
But that's what apparently that's
I
why.
wonder if his agent is Isaac Moses. I need to look this up. I'll look that up later.
Apparently that's why.
That doesn't surprise me, to be honest.
And that's why Portland Clifford, he must be the unluckiest player in NRL history.
I feel so bad.
He plays fine and he gets dropped.
That's the thing. And the thing is, he doesn't want to play anywhere else.
No, he loves the
He
Cowboys.
loves being.
He bleeds blue and grey.
How quickly can you convert him into a 9? How quickly can you do it?
Well, there's some chat about Reed Marnie making his way up here.
There's chat about lots of people. The Cowboys were rumored for going after Blake Moser. It's either Reed Marnie or it's going to be one of the 3 Brisbane.
The Brisbane wants to get stuck.
What's being said that we're going after Sam Smith or something?
There was something about.
I
Sam
think
Smith
that's
as
like
well.
Hooey, to be honest, because he's not a 9. You can't play him as a 9.
He has played there a couple of times, but
I think it's either going to be Reed Marnie or it'll be Walters or Pakes.
Walters can
Or
get
that
stuck.
or that young boy that's coming up.
Maybe Karen
He's not that good,
ready,
and he's not
just
that
not
good.
ready yet.
Yeah.
Which is
They
unfortunate.
need another hard head in the middle like Reece Robson is. So I don't know.
Reed Marnie is
That's
the
a good
correct
one.
answer.
I would suggest so.
Because now
He's almost just Reece Robson.
because your main man you want to find Tom Fallon and have to respond to the race.
Yeah.
He's not going anywhere.
No.
Unless you really want to try and inquire. Except no, because he's playing too many minutes, the Jacob Little stuff. But he's playing too many minutes at the Dragons. I don't think he's going to want to go anywhere.
Little would be good because he's very exciting.
There's just not many dummy halves.
Well, they may as well go for Reed then, I reckon.
You may as well.
Yeah. And look, Cowboys won.
The Cowboys did win. Jordan McLean.
Oh, that was his best game all year.
His first stint was nearly the best I've seen him play in a Cowboys uniform.
You know what I saw him do? I actually saw him step.
He was moving sideways.
I thought, what the hell has just happened?
Who are you?
Bateman 2.0.
Who are you and what have you done with McLean?
It was
He was a really good guy. And like it was normal, he was like a rock up the middle for defending.
And I thought Griffin Neame, when he came on the field, played really
He was
well.
excellent. Yeah.
Look, the Cowboys had a lot of good in that first 60 minutes. It's just that last 20 was so bad.
And I guess you can put some of it down to fatigue for some of them. I know that losing McIntyre after 20 minutes, he didn't come back on after a calf strain. If he could have come back on, I reckon they win by more.
Yeah, the middle gets solidified.
Yeah. So there were a couple of things that went against them. Of course, Robson went off early because, he was stuck.
Yeah, so they moved on Harris Edmonds.
So,
Hamstring tightness.
yeah, they're just keeping him on life.
The 2 big elephants in the room, for me, plural, for this game were one, only 2 of the Cowboys' tries were scored against 13 men. It's not a good look, in my opinion, because if you need to be playing against 12 to score points, you're not a good football team.
But the 2 tries that they scored against 13 were very good.
And 2, nearly blowing a 26-point lead in 15 minutes is bad.
But the Tigers have a history of doing that in Townsville.
The Cowboys just have a history of slocking off at the end of games because as soon as they have an opportunity to make their for and against look good, they do this.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden they're still negative.
They should have won by about 3.
I've gotten 52 to 6. You should not win by 4 points.
No, you should win by 40 points.
You should win by more. Yeah, absolutely.
And they could have it.
So,
this is the thing.
Yeah.
But I think a little bit of fatigue may have settled in. Once again, we talked about losing McIntyre.
And also the Origin boys as well.
That's what I mean.
Dana was gassed by the end of the game. Potter was gassed by the end of that game. There was, clear fatigue there. If I'm Todd Payton, I see what happened there. I am not playing. I'm not letting them back up off Origin.
Yeah, no, I don't think
there's no way someone's
got other people that they can throw in there.
They have enough people. They have enough forwards to cover it. You have Tom McKaylee, and then you decide to put Kai O'Donnell in, who was bad. He was bad.
He didn't.
It was as soon as he came off that the Tigers stopped scoring points. So,
3 minutes left.
With 5
minutes left.
The 2 favourite tries for me in this game.
Who was also good.
Cohen was excellent.
My 2 favourite tries from this game were Jordan Bateman, one obviously, because he's great. And Scott Drinker sprinted down the sideline.
Scott Drinkwater.
Oh, yeah, he turned into Sonic for 10 seconds.
He outran Little after comfortably.
I was more impressed that he outpaced Charlie Staines because we know how quick Charlie is.
Yeah.
And he didn't make an impression.
I did like his attempt to put it under the post when he'd already
That was funny.
Well, someone was trying to tell him it was over here. You already put it down.
Already put it down.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway, not good.
The Cowboys need to do one of 2 things. They either need to fix the defense, or they need to go all out attack. You can concede 40 points a game because you're going to be scoring 50.
Yeah.
That's one of those 2 mentalities needs to be fixed. I have no faith in this team right now. Please prove me wrong.
Yeah. Well, hopefully. Well, they're playing Melbourne in Melbourne this week, so it might be asked for them. They have beaten them down there before.
They have beaten them down there before.
A couple of times, actually. It's not just once. I mean, once was a big one in 2015, but that was a while ago. But they have beaten them, and they've beaten Melbourne with full-strength teams before. So, all they have to do is show up. They have the attackers in their team to be able to win. Melbourne also have attackers in their team.
I don't care if your 60 minutes is 1 point out of 10 worse. I just need that last 20 minutes to not be a -6.
Yeah. They need to be able to hold the line for the 80 minutes.
That's the thing. They did the exact inverse of what the Cowboys did.
And then we start slow and finish fast.
They overcorrected.
Yeah.
That's all you can really
But
say.
once again, I think it is down to the Origin guys getting tired and losing.
Also dropped Zach Lavert. He was terrible.
And losing McIntyre early.
Yeah, look, they were fairly depleted and they had a lot of already tired people.
Yeah.
I get why. Like, I understand the reasoning, but
I think if it's not after Origin and if Macca is healthy all the way through, it's not as close as that.
I'm sorry, 22 points in 15 minutes. It is
but
not even by that standard.
Yeah, no. I mean, I would accept maybe 2 tries.
Yeah, I'd be fine with that. If the game ended 32-18 or something, I would have been fine.
That probably would have been closer to the game itself, to be fair, because the Tigers weren't horrible.
The stats were fairly even, to
Yeah.
be honest.
So, well done to both teams for at least putting on a pretty exciting spectacle.
Very exciting, yes.
And you're sitting on the edge of the seat. I'm sitting at the front row doing this.
Yeah,
My blood pressure.
when Charlie Staines scored, I had resigned to the fact the Cowboys were going to blow this because I was certain of it. And then they scored the final try that they scored, which I think was Stafford Toa's second try.
Yeah.
And I was just like, yeah, this was over. And they somehow managed to hold on. That Coruscant can't catch. That's why. Because if he catches that off the line break, there's a try coming and the Cowboys lose.
Yeah, well,
That's the thing.
we can just be happy that they got the 2 points out of it. They stay in the 8th now.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting this week.
Yeah, they're 5-1-5. They don't deserve to be in the top 8. Why are they in 6th?
No,
So stupid.
Anyway,
There are at least 2 teams beneath them that have more wins.
yeah,
That's the thing.
but here's the deal.
You mitigate it by continually winning.
Yes. There's the same at the top though, right?
The
Because
Raiders have won the most games. They're sitting in second.
in second, so yeah,
Yeah, we'll see how that goes. They haven't had a bye yet, the Raiders.
no. So they're actually winning basically.
Doing so well. All right, Manly Broncos. The wheels have officially fallen off and are careening down the highway. Brisbane are in trouble.
Yes. Good. No one likes Brisbane.
And nobody cares.
What do you? I don't know why everyone roots for bad football. I don't get it. I would prefer there to be good teams.
Rick Clark and Ezra Man. Ezra Man shouldn't even be playing.
That's too wrong.
He punched the guy in the face.
Right. So you should hate nearly every football player that's ever existed.
Not on the footy field.
This is not on the footy field.
It was fucking on one of the Instagram.
Okay, you should hate Adam Reynolds.
Oh, yeah, I forgot
And we
that.
trying to punch Payne Haas.
No, not that Carrigan.
Oh, the Carrier. So you should hate Pat Carrier.
They neither of them
Different.
actually hit this one.
It's the same thing.
But look, I know what's happening in Brisbane.
I know what's happening in Brisbane.
They don't like Maguire.
With how bad this year is, it's proof that it was not Kevin Walters' fault.
No.
This is a playing group issue.
That or
No, it's a playing group issue.
well, no, I don't believe it was necessarily Kevin Wilder's fault. But unfortunately, when they're not getting results, the coach wears it. It's
Yeah.
Like,
I hope people aren't blaming Michael Maguire for this. I don't think it's his fault.
I think there may be a little bit of resentment between some of the players and Maguire, but that they've got to become a bit bigger than this, right? They're not babies; they've been around long enough.
it's like,
But the issue with that is they've seen the success Michael Maguire's had. He's a premiership winning coach.
He's also a wooden spoon winning coach.
I don't think Kevin Walters was the coach.
No, he got like 14th or something once.
It's still not a wooden spoon.
Yeah, there is clearly something going on at Brisbane. I do think it's a playing group problem. I don't think it's Maguire's fault at all.
It's like the thing, if the game's really good for one team, the players are so good. If it's bad, the coach will get blamed.
Yeah, winning covers up everything, right? That's the thing.
And losing, they don't blame the players for making the mistakes or something. They blame the coach.
I'm blaming the players, and actually people are starting to come for the playing group, which, well, I mean, it's not good because it means that there is instinctively something wrong, but it means that people are aiming the vitriol at the right part of the organisation now. So it's a matter of whether... I don't think you can fix that sort of thing in the middle of the season. I think you almost have to write the season off and do a roster clean out. You have to go through everyone and say, do you want to be here? If you don't, get out and we will bring people in who will.
Yeah, I mean, Brisbane have been this glamour club for so many years now.
The most overrated club.
Not particularly. They've been a very, very good
Well, they've been one of the stalwarts of the NRL for
When
the
was
past.
the last time they won a premiership?
That doesn't matter. They actually won. They've won 6. How many of the Cowboys won?
One, but that was the most recent one.
Doesn't matter.
Brisbane made a grand final most recently.
Yeah, but they still didn't win.
The Cowboys haven't made a grand final recently.
They should have in
Well,
2022.
maybe they.
Why are we talking about this? We're talking about Brisbane.
Yeah,
This is Brisbane.
Brisbane have been bad this year. Look, Manly.
For Brisbane, this is what I was concerned about, is that the main strength for them is all the eggs in the Haas and Carrigan baskets because they are excellent players. As soon as Origin comes around and they are not at full strength, they capitulate. And this was a Manly forward pack that is not good. And they got bulldozed.
They have one good player.
They've won. Yeah. And he's not even in the middle of the field, so he wouldn't even be running at Haas and Carrigan. They got run over by Ethan Bullimore and Matt Lodge.
Matt Lodge again.
Matt Lodge again.
What the hell?
He's going to be playing football until he's 50, I think.
He'll play for 17 clubs, right?
For all of them, yes. He will be the inaugural signing for the Perth Bears.
Oh, please no.
Yeah. It's just, look, maybe it's divine retribution for allowing Ezra Mann back in. That's the only thing.
Here's the
you can
thing.
say.
Even when he hasn't been playing, they haven't been going that good.
No, but it's got worse, I would say. It just
They've lost 6 of their last 7 games.
yeah,
It's not good. What's the answer? Who knows? I guess if
I
knew the answer to that, I have temples named after me and stuff.
don't find the answer to be a rugby league coach.
Well, it would be that.
I don't know. I don't think it's a thing you can fix in a single season.
I don't know if there is an answer.
The answer is retroactively go back and not fire Kevin Walters and instead go with changing the playing group instead of the coaching staff.
But every team changes the coach,
They
and
do.
not the players, which
No.
is not necessarily right every single
No,
time.
I don't think it's right a lot of the time, to be fair. I do think they need to clean out the roster.
Yeah,
Because
there's some rotten ones in there.
unfortunately, if they don't find success, Payne Haas is going to leave and he's going to be paid $1 billion to go play for the Bears. They
Other people think he could be getting $2 million to go over there.
He will be the highest paid player in rugby league, and he's going to reset the market for forwards. There are going to be so many forwards that are paid such overs, especially to keep them from going to places like the Bears and PNG.
Yeah.
There's going to be a lot of people getting egregiously overpaid in the next couple of years.
When did Terrell May's contract with the Tigers expire?
In a couple of years. He's fine for the time being.
Okay, 'cause I was going to say you could go to the Bears, honestly, as well.
That would be a pretty scary.
Cowboys, I have an idea.
Sign Terrell May.
No, you cut Jason Taumalolo and throw all the money at Payne Haas. I don't know if they cut Taumalolo. They won't cut Taumalolo. They should, but they won't.
To be fair, though, when he's been fit recently
he's been fine.
He's been quite good. I mean, he had one there that ran 200 metres not that long ago.
But that's the thing. If Brisbane lose Payne Haas, it's going to be a rough few years because we do have a replacement for the best, like one of the best props in football.
Yeah, anybody.
There's no one.
That's Spanish finance.
I guess what's that big guy, Takura?
He was bad in this game. I thought he was a non-factor.
Yeah,
a lot of the bench was a non-factor. To be fair,
Xavier Wilson's the other one, right?
Willison's good. Yeah, I think he's all right. They should be using him more. It's just, I don't.
It's hard. Someone like Ben Takura, he's hardly played.
I'm very angry at Ezra Mann because he came out and like everyone was booing him every time he touched the ball, and he didn't think that people were booing him for the driving stuff.
Why did they think they would do?
I don't know what he was thinking. He is the most self-reflecting person in rugby league's history. That is the dumbest thing I have ever heard anyone say. It's absurd. It really, really pissed me off. He really, really pissed me off for that. It's annoying. Brisbane are in free fall right now. The spine is bad. Reynolds is trying his damnedest.
He's dragging it as far as he can.
He's trying his best, but unfortunately the 34-year-old legs have only got so much in them. And
look, he's a wonderful player, Reynolds, but he can't be the whole team.
The revolving door that is the squad now, they still don't have an answer at dummy half. Their second rowers' depth is still terrible. There's a lot of issues. I don't think it's going to get better anytime soon. And with their upcoming draw, with their next four, including the Sharks, Bulldogs, and Warriors, yikes!
Those are 3 losses.
They could drop it. They could drop into the bottom 4, and it's season nearly over pretty much for Brisbane.
Speaking of losses.
No, we haven't even talked about Manly yet. Stop trying to move on. I know you hate Manly, and I know you hate Manly, but they did win this game, and they won it by a lot.
Apparently, they won pretty well.
I don't hate Manly.
I was driving home. I didn't get to see one.
Me too.
So.
Final score was 34-6. It was a flogging. Manly just out-muscled them. They had 58% of the ball. They completed at 88%. They had 6 line breaks compared to 2, and they only conceded 1-6 again compared to 6 by Brisbane. It was domination, for lack of a better term.
Scary considering, like you say, they've got a dad's army of a forward pack.
And it was led by the ultimate dad's army general, Daly Cherry Evans. He was excellent.
Apparently he did very well. So he's come out after his Origin, I guess you'd almost say flop, because he wasn't great.
He wasn't great at Origin.
And he's pulled out a masterclass.
This is the thing. This is what
happens when your forwards are actually going.
Those things, exactly. which is why I'm okay if he stays in Origin, because if you can revamp the forward pack to at least be competitive, he will be okay.
Can you?
Can you?
Anyway, we've talked about that already.
But yeah, he was great. He set up 2 tries, kicked a 40-20. He steered the team around very, very well. This is what Daly Cherry Evans is. He was good. Combined with a great performance at fullback by Lehigh Hopewadi. He played very, very well.
Apparently Luke Brooks wasn't too bad.
Luke Brooks played well.
Yeah.
This was one of the better games, at least this year, from him that I saw. This Clayton Falalalo guy is really fun to watch. He's very in the mold, I think, of the Zach Lomax,
Right.
where he just tries literally everything, and some of it works and some of it doesn't. A lot of it worked tonight. It was very, very entertaining.
Well, that night.
Well, yeah, you know what I mean. Yeah, I think it was 5 of Manly's forwards went over 100. 4 of them went over 140. It was.
Mole, oh, Kawatu.
He wasn't a standout in this game.
He scored 2 tries.
I don't think
He scored
so.
1 try, I know that.
True. Yeah, he did score 1. I don't know whether he scored 2.
I thought he scored 2, but I could be wrong.
I didn't think he did that much, to be honest. I think he was overshadowed by a few other people.
Oh, look, he's a good player.
Oh, he's an excellent player. I'm not taking anything away from him. I love Kawatu.
Next year in fantasy, I need to jump on him immediately.
No, don't, because he's already too expensive. He's the only person you target at the end of the year.
Or Terrell May. That could be a good
He could be a good start point because he could be $1 million.
He's already $1 million.
got 2
I
tries.
did get 2 tries. How did I miss
One
that?
on the 38 and one on the 70.
How did I miss that?
I told you.
I am sorry.
I told you.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Look, he's a good player, and if they can keep him, they can build this team around him, because obviously Daly will be leaving at some point. He's not going to be there forever.
Yeah, and they're getting Fogarty next year as well, who'll be really good. His ball playing works with, especially with how it's working with Hudson Young this year. That combined with the most destructive runner in possibly the entire NRL, that's a scary proposition.
He always looks like he wants to kill people.
He does. He looks very angry all the time.
I got his
I like a lot of Manly's team. I mean, the forwards are still a little bit of a concern as to how well they're going to be
They
faring.
still have one of the fastest backlines in the comp.
Oh, their backline is great. As long as the forward pack is serviceable, they have the weapons to be good, because we've seen it for the past couple of
Because
years.
even Jason Saab's come forward a bit these last
He's
few weeks.
looked pretty good.
Yeah.
I've actually liked what I've seen from Jason.
Second Harper, is he retired?
No, he's on the Eels now, I think.
He just doesn't play because he
No,
Bad.
I know he got released by the Eels. I think he's signed somewhere else. I don't remember.
probably signed with some English club. Or something.
Super League.
Was it the Warriors?
Yeah.
It was something like that. I know he went to the Eels. I don't know what's happening because he's never played because he's so terrible.
So bad.
Yeah.
It's like
Anyway.
a good player in NRL.
Manly won comfortably. Brisbane have a lot of soul searching to do.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that. Manly go on their merry way.
Yeah, they're sitting on, I think, 5 or 6 wins now. They're sitting pretty close to the top 8.
But, yeah, they're behind the
Well, I think, yeah, they either have the same amount or one more win than the Cowboys do. It's that entire area is very, very
very
congested.
close.
And they start to even out as teams get all their buys out. of the
Yeah,
way.
yeah.
So I guess we will see how.
Teams already have their boys, just have to keep winning at that point.
We almost have all our buys out of the way. We have one in the last round.
Last round, so we've got to go into that last round with a win.
I really hope Magic Round we're playing.
And now, a kickoff to a great Sunday of football.
Yeah.
The Bunnies and the Warriors. What a game! What a game this
Ah,
was.
Wow.
Yeah, the Warriors won this one in pretty interesting fashion. I will say it was a very, very tight game.
I think the main talking point for this game, Alex Johnson hat trick, 200
200 drives.
Tries, here he comes.
Yeah,
I said this. If he manages to stay healthy for the rest of the year, he's going to catch Ken Irvin's record this year.
Yeah.
I think, because his career try scoring rate is, I don't think he's reached 200 games yet. I think it's over 100% he goes at.
Hmm.
So if he plays out the rest of the year, and if the Rabbits make finals, I think he'll catch it
I
this
think
year.
he could. Depends on the health.
Also depends on the people inside it. Like if Latrell gets hurt, maybe.
Good. I don't like it.
Unfortunately for you, he played very well in this
Yeah,
game.
I won't deny that.
He played well in this game.
He was South's best.
I don't know.
Yeah, Jairo was good.
Jairo, I thought played very well. I thought Keon Kaloa-Matangi
Oh,
was
look, I
excellent.
forgot about him. Yeah, sorry, he ran for a million.
I'm glad that Wayne Bennett figured out, hey, we should play him in the middle.
He's a middle forward.
He's a middle forward. He is. He played the entire game, scored a try, ran for over 200 meters. He broke 8 tackles, had 40 tackles. He was a machine in the middle.
Yeah, he was
very, very good. You brought up Latrell. I thought he played very well.
He played well.
He's good.
He had some very good touches.
Yeah, I thought, look, the positive for the Rabbits is they scored 30 points against one of the premiership contenders right now, missing 2 of their best attacking weapons still. That's the thing. They are not healthy. They are missing Jeff Whiten and Cody Walker. They come back. All of a sudden, you're thinking they're going to be an offensive juggernaut.
To be fair, though, the Warriors' defense isn't like it was a couple of years ago.
It's not phenomenal, but it's been working for them, and I guess it worked for them here. They let in less points than they scored.
Yeah, but I guess it's kind of sort of like the Cowboys game. The difference here was it was close all the way up. I think there was only like the biggest gap was like 10 points or something.
That Cowboys game was the exact definition of a tale of two halves.
Yeah.
This one, though,
it was pretty much
that.
Yeah, it was tit for tat most of the game. It was very, very entertaining to watch. It was quite a good game.
It was good, and the Warriors held off. They scored enough points.
They did well. The main weapon, I think, that won the Warriors this game was the forward pack, because for as much as Souths are very good, their forward pack is a little weak, at least in my opinion. Especially their bench isn't great, and you could tell that when the bench forwards came on, the Warriors got a lot of momentum. They gained quite a sizable lead.
Yeah. The biggest thing from this game could have been the Alex Johnson 300 or 200.
It's Mitch Barnett's injury.
Yes, exactly.
Which is extremely unfortunate. It sucks for him. But that makes the forward domination all the more impressive from the Warriors.
Because without one of them.
Exactly. Well, it was good that they had James Fisher-Harris back for this game. Yeah. He played well, I thought.
You're going to get good things from James.
Aaron Clark did his usual thing of being amazing.
Exactly.
He escaped the hell that is the Gold Coast.
And he's gone home.
He's gone home.
That helps, right?
He looks like he's having fun.
Yeah.
Which is good. Also,
get tired. What is going on?
Bunny. Charles Nickel Clock's excellent in this game.
200 metres at half time.
Yeah, he was on 200 at halftime. I thought, he's coming for Joey Manu's record.
Got somewhere close.
Got to 340.
Yeah.
Which is absurd. He was excellent in this game.
Oh, look. Every time he runs the ball, he runs with vigor, right? He never just jogs up. Like you see a lot of fullbacks in teams just
he's going.
He just goes. Because he obviously has confidence in his body.
Oh, yeah. The only real thing he has to deal with is concussions, but that's kind of dried up now. So that's a good thing.
His body is very strong, and he can just keep running up and running up. I thought Roger Tuivasa-Sheck played quite well. I thought
he played all right in this game, yeah.
Dallin had a bit of an off-ish game.
I will give credit for the extended role he had to play because of the Mitch Barnett injury to Jackson Ford. He played very well.
Yes, I heard his name a lot.
Well, for as much as losing Mitch Barnett sucks, we've seen the job Jackson Ford can do in a starting forwards role, and he does a pretty good job of it. They're not losing a lot.
And that's the one. Most Warriors have got pretty good depth at the moment.
I think they're all right because they can just, they started Leka Halasinger off the bench for this game, and then they just chucked him on, and he went like he usually does.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
He's good. The other guy, the other edge rower to come off the bench by Malgo, I thought he was really good in this game. They've got very, very good young forwards. It's very promising for how this team can continue to build. I'm very excited for the future of the Warriors right now.
You were just hoping that they'd start being bad. Because of your...
For the sake of my own pride, yes, but rugby league is better when the Warriors are good. So I am very, very happy for them. I'm very happy.
Webster could get Coach of the Year again, the way he's going.
If Coach of the Year is a really interesting race. I think Ricky Stewart's in the box.
In the box at the moment.
Cameron's around.
Well, because the way Coach of the Year has been done the past few years, it's the team that's had the biggest improvement. So you're either looking at Ricky Stewart or it's Wayne Bennett, I suppose. Maybe it's halfway through the year. It's very hard to tell.
Doesn't have a count. It's not top.
It's not top 8 yet. If they finish in the top 4, maybe.
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 They finished fifth.
They finished 5th last year, that's the issue.
Yeah.
Maybe if they go on a run of like 15 straight wins, then maybe it'll happen.
Yeah, that's never happened.
Maybe if win
That many rounds left.
What is it, this round? They play all but one, which is the last round.
It's round 14.
I think they have
30 rounds to go or something.
Yeah.
No, they have 12 because the last one's the bye. This is round 14. They're going to play this.
14.
After this round is 12.
14 through 26 is 13. Yeah, there's still this round.
Yeah,
plus
13
more. Yeah.
Plus, then you have to think, well, if they win that much, they're making finals. They go on a run in the
They
That's the only route for the Penguin.
yeah, there's no way we're winning.
He got a couple of years back, which he deserved in 2022. He
Yeah.
definitely deserved that.
From 15 to
Yeah.
57.
I think Ricky Stewart's my coach of the year right now.
Yeah.
At this point, yes.
I think so. But I would not hate it being like the coach of either of these two teams. I think
The Warriors did finish with 14th last year.
They
Yeah,
were
they're up at
quite poor.
Third,
Maybe Webster
second.
is in the box seat by that logic.
Yeah.
You might be right, actually.
I hope if he does, good luck to him because his team is going
Yeah.
gangbusters.
They are going mad.
They haven't fallen over like you thought they might. They've just kept going and going and going.
But it's only like my main concern for them in the preseason was the spine.
Mm.
I did not think it would gel the way it has.
Oh, wow.
How good is Luke Metcalf,
Wow,
man?
he has come through.
He's completely blown me away.
Mm.
I didn't think he was ready for this at all.
And he's a confident young man.
He
talks-
swings him around, doesn't he?
And he talks very, very well.
He's clearly a very smart guy.
Yeah.
He's clearly a very, very intelligent footballer, and he has the skill as well.
His kicking boot was off a little bit on the weekend. I think he started out missing the first two conversions.
He did all right.
And
It's not like you're going to make every shot. You can't
no,
expect
and it
to
was
make
into
every
the sun.
But he did miss one that was very close to the uprights, if I
Right.
remember correctly.
It was probably about 10 metres to the right.
It wasn't much.
You know Zach Lomax.
Yeah, he did great. I've been very, very impressed with Luke Metcalf this year. And even more so, I think, with Chanel Harris-DeVito, who's complimented him exceptionally well.
Yeah, because Channel was pretty ordinary last year. He's really, really picked it up this year.
I've been very, very happy seeing the Warriors.
Well done, Warriors.
They're sitting, I think, in third now. They're on 9 wins. They're looking like a top 4 team. The Bunnies, I think, are on 6 wins still, which means that with, like, forsaking all the bye points and stuff, they are currently in the top 8,
Yeah,
despite the fact that they're sitting in 9th.
yeah.
But, yeah, both of these teams look like they're probably finals bound, in my opinion. It's a matter of where they finish. Because either of these two teams can make the top 4 from mine.
You're still bouncing with that thing because that's what you
Well, because here's the thing.
predicted.
Because you've got the top 3, because you've got the Raiders on 10, and then you've got the Dogs and Warriors on 9 wins. And then 4th place is between Melbourne and Cronulla, who are each on 7 wins. Bunnies are on 6, right? So they're only 1 win behind. So it's not impossible that maybe even Cronulla just kind of go peter off a little bit.
Because then what is the Cowboys on 5.5? I think Manly are on 6 as well.
Yeah, Manly are on 6 as well. So there are a couple teams, like, it's all the bye stuff that really
Yeah.
confuses things. So it's a matter of when all the bye stuff, like past round 18, I think, is when everything will start to look really clear because then that's the 3 massive bye rounds out of the way.
Yeah.
Then everything will look nice and clear. Right now, you have to look at the win totals, not the points, because the Cowboys are in 6th on 5 wins.
5.5.
5.5 wins. 5 wins in a draw.
Well, I said, yeah, we'll go with that. Well, whatever then. Yeah, I really like both these teams. I think the Rabbit ceiling is only going to get higher as they get troops back. I think the Warriors are playing exceptionally well. Webster's got them going. This will be interesting. This is a great
It
game.
was good and well done to the Warriors. Commiserations to Souths.
Yeah.
But there's good things to look at with them.
Oh, I'm not worried about South at all.
Where's played the Wars yet?
Yeah, they'll be
Yeah, they beat them.
Okay.
That's right.
in a very dour competition.
Yeah, the rain. Yeah. Another dour competition. Panthers Eels.
First runner!
Actually, no. I'm going to disagree with you on that. This was a very high quality game of
It
football.
was actually not bad.
Everyone,
Considering you had the two halves from
Because there weren't many points doesn't mean it was a bad game. Both teams completed it above 80%. There was more than 60 minutes of ball in play. It was a good game of football played between 15th and 17th at the time, I think, as everyone is.
That's why everyone thought
I love the consistent commentary of this being. This has the semi-final feel, and it's two teams in the bottom four. I found that quite funny.
But to a point, it would because they were both playing at home ground.
Yeah. It's kind of like when the Dolphins have home games at Suncorp against Brisbane.
Yeah.
my favorite home stadium for Penrith, Combank.
Yeah, well, they actually won here this time, which is at least better than what they were doing for most of the
And for a lot of that game, it was in the balance, so it wasn't like they were definitely going to win.
Yeah, it kind of felt like Penrith were half a step ahead for most of the game.
But Parramatta
were there.
What they've been doing the last few weeks, they've stayed with teams and then they've been able to sometimes win.
Yeah, exactly.
Not this time, unfortunately.
It was just a kicking masterclass is what this game was. But it's Cleary and Moses firing shots across the bow for 80 straight minutes. It was a joy to
Some of
watch
those
these
kicks
kids.
were incredible.
I'm annoyed because they didn't credit Cleary with the 40-20 because it was touched by the Parramatta fullback or whoever it was. It was a 40-20. I'm crediting him with the 40-20.
Well,
40-20.
Sorry, it wasn't because it was touched.
It was.
It's being
It would have been a 40-20 if the guy didn't touch it.
Yeah, so it would have been good if it hadn't been not good.
Except it got the right result anyway. It got literally the exact same result. Aside from it not being a scrum instead of a tap. That's the only difference it is. It's the same thing.
Well, they got the ball back. It was a good kick.
Yeah.
Not much else to say.
No,
It was a high-quality game.
I will give props to who I think has surprised me a lot this year at Moses Leota. I thought he was great in this game. I think he's been great for a few weeks now. Especially, I don't think people in that Penrith forward pack were willing to step up to replace James Harris. I don't think it's worked this year. Leota looks to be at least trying to do
He's done his
that.
best, right?
He's at least
He's
doing that.
definitely not.
I think that
Harris, but
Blaise Talangi is getting better as the weeks go on. He's looking more and more like he will partner well with Nathan Cleary. It's a matter of whether Penrith are going to get things going quick enough to make a push for the 8. That's the thing. They played well in this game.
yeah, all I need is 2 more losses or something, and
And
very,
done, essentially.
very hard at that point.
Yeah.
You prefer to not be in their position.
It's also good for Penrith because I thought this was a very quiet game for Isaiah Yeo. He didn't really do much here, and they still ended up winning.
I guess you can forgive him a little bit.
For Origin, obviously, but Nathan Cleary played Origin, and he was arguably the best player on the ground. So,
Yeah, but Isaiah is a bit older than Nathan Cleary, I think. So
I think you'd be surprised. Cleary's 27 or something. I think Isaiah would maybe be 30. So it's not a huge difference.
also, I mean, it's a difference.
But it's a forward as
Yeah.
opposed to a halfback. That's the main reason.
And look, let's not take anything away from Cleary. I thought he played well.
However, the one thing that frustrates me watching Penrith, Casey McLean, learn to pass. Please, you've robbed Tom Jenkins of at least 4 tries this year. Pass the freaking ball.
Yeah.
He's like Will Chambers, but 50% worse. That's what
Chambers was better than him. Yeah,
that's my comparison to him. Is a
Yeah.
worse Will Chambers.
This isn't a good comparison.
Not a good
No,
I know
Nathan.
he's Patrick Herbert. That's what he is. He's Patrick Herbert.
He'll never lose that
That's what
one.
he is.
He'll never lose that one.
Penrith did enough to win
Yeah.
in a pretty good game, and it's unfortunate for Parramatta because I didn't think they were bad in this game.
No,
I thought they played fairly well. I'm going to give credit to Jack Williams because he was a signing in the off-season that didn't really garner a lot of attention because, he was kind of pushed out from Cronulla because of all the forwards they have, and then the Adam Fitzpatrick signing, it was just bound to happen. So he gets pushed out of Cronulla, moves to Parramatta. Gets immediately put into the leadership group by Jason Riles. Clearly he saw something. He's picked up the past few weeks because he's doing this hybrid middle/edge role, which he does very, very well. And it really worked this week. I was very, very happy watching it because he had to, because Luca Moretti had his black eye that happened, and then Katonga went for an HIA for bleeding his face out. So he had to play both edges essentially, and he was good. He nearly scored a try. He ran for some 160 meters or something. He played 72 minutes. It was a big stint.
It's a big effort. Yeah.
I thought he played very, very well. I thought Mitch Moses played well. His kicking game is almost
Some of those
unstoppable.
kicks were crazy.
I think he might have the best long kicking game in the competition.
Oh, yeah. Burton's probably got the biggest boot, but yes, I think Moses can.
Burton has the one that I think might win you the most games,
Yeah.
but Moses is just so consistent. I love watching Mitch
He's a
Moses.
sweet striker of the ball.
I love watching him go about his
Yeah.
business. Both these teams are still in the hunt for the 8, in my opinion. I think they can both get there.
I don't think they both will get there.
I don't think they both will, but I think they both can. It's a matter of which one does. Who's going to kick on first?
Yeah, well, it could be that neither of them do as well.
It could also be that neither of them do. This was true. That's how weird this season is.
Yeah.
But I think one of them is going to get better at some point. It's a matter of how quickly they can do it.
I guess we'll see when we look at
I think
next week's games.
one of them is going to finish between like 8 and 10, and the other's going to finish between 10 and 12. It's going to be one of those things. They're both going to get better. One's going to get better first. It's a matter of who it is. So I guess we will see.
Well, what we do know is that Parramatta are streets ahead when Mitchell Moses plays.
I will say for Parramatta at least, I was watching Zach Lomax in this game. He looked gassed. With 15 minutes left, he was out on his feet. You don't play him after Origin, too, in my opinion.
It's hard to play your Origin players. It really is. Especially when they play the
because he has such a high work rate
Yeah.
on the wing, he's going to get himself hurt. I think you can rest him after Origin,
Yeah, I
too.
think so.
I guess we will see.
Well, he wasn't really much of a factor in this game at all.
He
So,
kick.
yeah,
He pulled a Cameron Smith.
I saw that. That was funny.
He did. He slipped over.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
It's your mate.
See, I'm happy. I'm
Yeah.
happy because it's Zach Lomax, because I like Zach Lomax. I wasn't happy when it was Cameron Smith because I'm sick of it.
I liked him because of the way Cameron Smith, because he was confident from the Roosters.
It's like,
He
oh,
goes like this, do that,
that one.
Anyway, good game, everybody, from that
Game.
one. The double P's. So,
Yes, Penrith and Parramatta. Battle of the West.
yes.
And now, another great game.
This was
Sunday was awesome. Raiders.
the best Sunday football we've had.
It was great.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was awesome.
Roosters are going well as far as I'm
I'm
concerned.
so impressed with the Roosters.
Yeah.
I thought they would be a lost cause without Sam Walker. All of a sudden, I'm thinking they could make a push for like 5th or 6th now.
Yeah.
They're looking really, really good.
Now, I'm real unlucky not to win this game, but once again, we're looking at Canberra, who is, the
best team right
in
now.
the competition.
Yeah.
So, but they really pushed the hell out of this
They
game.
really did, man.
Points in the end. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, the reason they were in this game, 2 words, James Tedesco.
Oh,
Put him in Origin. For goodness sake, Laurie Daly, put him in Origin.
No, don't. Actually, that's the game.
No, for the sake of letting this man create the legacy that he deserves, put him in Origin.
yeah.
Because he is the best fullback New South Wales has to offer right now.
He's probably the best fullback in the competition.
Based on form, I'd put him at number 1.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's uncanny. The guy's getting older, but it's like a daily almost.
Yeah,
He's getting better with
He's
age.
so much fun. Like in this game, he scored a try, he ran for 230 metres, broke 12 tackles, a stat which he currently leads the NRL in.
And the guy's what, 31?
2-year-old fullback is leading the league in tackle breaks.
He's always been good at
Think
it.
about how absurd that is.
He's always been good at it. He's strong in the hip leg area, and he's just able to break through tackles. So
Love watching
Photo,
James
but
Tedesco.
20%
I'm very curious where he's going to finish his career in terms of the best fullbacks of all time.
I think he's going to be in the conversation.
I'd put him right now. He's top 5 for me. He's on the same level as actually he might even be top 3 right now because
I think Slater probably still pips him. I know you don't like that, but I think he's up there.
I think Greg Inglis has to be there.
The difference with Inglis, of course, is he wasn't a specialist fullback. He played 3 different positions.
True. He was a fullback when he played at South.
Yeah.
I feel like it's probably top 5 because Matt Bowen has to be up there.
I mean, I know he only played half his career there, but it was a great half of career. You have to put Darren Lockyer in that conversation.
For a bit, but once again, half his career was there. Half his career was at 5'8".
One of the great fullbacks were they?
Gary Jack,
Jack,
Gary Belcher,
yeah. Some of the older guys,
the older guys.
A lot.
funny.
Yeah, Matt Bowen.
I'd put Matty Bowen up there. He'd be top 5.
He's one of the best
He's
players.
one of those ones that just doesn't have the accolades that matches how good he actually was. It's unfortunate.
Yeah. He was
Rest the
very,
team
very good.
around him was
But yes.
absolutely dog.
Desco is up there in that conversation now.
I think
Absolutely.
he has to be.
Absolutely.
Not anymore. I thought Robert Toyer backing off Origin played fairly well. What do you think?
I don't think he's done his chances of playing Origin again any harm.
No, not at all. I thought he played fairly. He was matched up against, what was it, Seb Chris? One of Seb Chris or Matt Timmelkov, both who are great centres in their own
Very
right.
strong runners.
And you didn't really hear either of their names that much.
Robert Toyer is really, really good.
Yeah, I like
This,
Rob.
this random Sandon Smith, Hugo Savala halves combo is playing exceptionally well.
Is there a better one in the comp at the moment?
Than a halves combo?
Yeah.
You know what? Maybe not. Maybe, well, it might be the other. Actually, no, even Jamal Fogarty wasn't even in this game.
No.
I think Fogarty Strange might be close.
Yeah.
Give it. That's a real. Oh, wait, no, wait, it's stupid.
Moses
It's
Brown.
Munster Hughes.
Oh, yeah.
It's Munster Hughes. But
They're not
in
far off,
terms of form, I'd put them up there. They're
Mm.
playing very. This Hugo Savala kid, he's great.
He's like the world's tallest halfback.
He looks like Larry Bird.
Yeah.
He looks like Larry Bird. I swear he looks like Larry Bird. And I'm going to put the picture of the two of them up. He looks like Larry Bird.
I do feel sorry for Savalo for that particular separation. Well, he's
Great.
he's not built this. Well, I guess they're the same sort of lanky build, but
Yeah, I'm sure Larry Bird's probably nearly 3/4 of a foot taller. But
yeah.
You need to show me what he looks
they
like.
look the same. Who's Larry Bird or Hugo Savala?
Both of them.
Both.
Larry Bird's a little.
Yeah, I know what Larry Bird looks like.
Yeah, he's a little
You
blue
just
thing
show-
for Twitter.
No, that doesn't exist anymore.
I don't know.
It's still Twitter.
Text.
Everyone still calls it Twitter.
Yeah, I'm very curious to
Going
see.
good.
I'm very curious to see which of Smith and Savala drop out when Sam Walker comes back in the next few weeks, because he's back in New South Wales Cup now.
Right.
So I'd give them 2 or 3 weeks before one of them has to go. Unfortunately,
Probably Savalo.
in terms of scheme fit, I think it'll probably be Savala out because Smith is a better 5'8",
Yeah.
and Walker is going to be the 7 there. That's just how it is. It's unfortunate.
And Sam Smith's been going.
He's been going very well.
So,
Anyone who needs a team that needs a halfback, I'd ask about Hugo Savala.
Jake Cleveland is probably not going to be here.
Because I think he's on contract until the end of 2026, so people can negotiate with him at the end. Come November 1 this year.
right.
So if I'm maybe like the Knights, I'd be having a question.
Possibly. Yeah.
Any,
They need
do
something.
we have a halfback hungry teams right now?
I mean,
Not, with
Jake
them.
Cleveland
Cowboys.
is going to leave.
Not really. We've got too many of them. Is the problem?
Or we have too many 5'8s. There's a difference.
Yeah, I suppose.
We have Jake Clifford, and that's about it.
I suppose that's and Duffy who's going to leave.
Duffy's gonna leave.
Duffy's going to leave.
He's going to go play for the Titans. Oh, it's the Titans. The Titans are going to sign him. They're going to sign him. They're going to play Keeney at 1 and play Campbell at 6. Now Savala at 7, and then Brimson's going to be kicked out probably.
We're going to sign him. We're going to sign him.
We're not going to sign AJ Brimson. No. But yeah, I am very intrigued about the Roosters. They sit in 12th place right now on 5 wins, though.
I don't think that's actually very.
I don't think it's indicative at all.
Yeah.
I don't think it is at all.
They've lost some very close games.
Yeah.
This one, yeah, 2 points.
They're also not at full strength because they're missing Nafaku White, who's still out, who was going gangbusters when he was in.
Yeah.
They've got some good players. I love and hate Mark Nwangani to last. He is the most rocks and diamonds player I've ever seen, because he'll do some stuff that makes you think this is the most talented player of all time, and then he'll turn into
Like turtle.
exactly he turns into a pumpkin at midnight. It's his thing.
Yeah.
At about the 45-minute mark,
I think he could be with, more
If-
time, one of the
if-
better wingers that we've seen.
well, yeah, he always gets the Israel Folau comparisons. I don't hate that because they're very similar styles of player. I think Mark may be a little more flashy.
Rocks and Diamonds, I'm giving that to Reece Walsh. I
No,
do
Mark
not care.
Mark is worse. I'm sorry. Mark is worse.
No, I'm not actually giving it to
Fuck
Reece
me.
Walsh. He's just always consistently bad.
Yeah, okay, whatever, mate. Okay. And there's a lot of good to like about this Roosters team right
Yeah.
now.
And of course, the Raiders are still doing what Raiders are doing, and they did it without
Yeah,
Jamal
they're doing what they do when they win beyond all sense of reason ever. They lose Jamal Fogarty the day before this game happens.
Still
There's
win.
Ethan Sanders in there that no one's ever heard of, and he decides, you know what, I'm going to beat the Roosters. Why?
They've got some good players.
Which is good because I thought Sanders played well. It's a glimpse as to what the Raiders will be when Fogarty leaves at the end of the year.
This is going to be
I
good.
do wonder if Ricky Stewart didn't want the Raiders to be this good. Because I think he might have wanted to blood Ethan Sanders a bit. And now they're just like, well, we're currently the team with the most wins halfway through the year. It's not like I can just drop Jamal halfway through.
No.
That will raise a lot of eyebrows. I'm interested to see how Sanders goes with any other opportunities he gets because he seems like a good player.
Well, he's running behind a very good forward pack.
Even with like the minutes rotation for this was really weird because I think Joe Tarpany only played like 43 minutes this game. But that's how Sticky's been doing his rotations. He's been going like he'll do a 60-minute and then like high 50s, low 50s, then a 40, and then it'll reset. That's how Tarpany's minutes have been going this year.
Okay.
It's good management, especially at this point because the Raiders haven't had a bye yet. They've played the 13 games straight now. Once they start getting buys,
last year,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I think once they start getting buys out of the way, you'll start seeing Tarpany and Horsburgh and these sorts of guys get their minutes back up a little bit.
Yeah.
Because you could see when they came back on the field in the second half, the Raiders immediately looked better.
He should be an NRL coach.
I've thought about it. I think I'd be terrible at motivating players, but I'd be good with schemes. Maybe I should be an assistant coach.
Yeah.
We'll see how it goes.
Replace the stupid fucking defensive coach.
Replace. Bye, Justin. Bye. No, I should be the offensive coach. I don't even know who the Cowboys offensive coach is now.
Imagine it was Justin Holden.
I wouldn't mind Justin Holbrook because he's the offensive coach of the Roosters right now, and they look really good.
Yeah.
I guess we'll see. Also, we talked about James Tedesco with all his tackle busting stuff. The guy with the second most tackle busts, Savelio Tamale, is quickly becoming one of my favourite players to watch. He's so cool.
He's kind of like there's a lot of players in his mould at the moment.
He's almost.
He's like Valentine Holmes.
He reminds me a lot. This is going to be a deep cut for a lot of people. There's a guy who played for the Dragons a few years ago. I think he played one game for Brisbane. Jordan Pereira.
Yeah.
They're almost the exact same for mine. Just these bruising wingers who will break 8 tackles a game for no good reason and run 160 metres.
He doesn't look massive.
He doesn't look like a big guy.
He obviously has a lot of strength in those legs.
Exactly. Yeah, you look at all of the other, like the infamous tackle-busting wingers, your Brian To'os, your Greg Marshes, these sorts of guys. He'd be 10 kilos lighter than those guys, I reckon. And he's still just running around willy-nilly doing whatever the hell he wants.
Polynesian, so it helps.
It does help. This is true. It's
Yeah.
just the Raiders are going exceptionally well. Ethan Strange is developing really well. I'm very excited to see what he does.
I mean, they've got feet on the edges. They've got their forwards going forward. It's a recipe for success.
Origin in 5 years' time is going to be really interesting because 5 years' time you'll have Nathan Cleary who'll be 32. Mitch Moses will probably be retired. Maybe it's Luai, but that number 6 jersey for New South Wales, it could be a dogfight between Strange and Galvin for it.
Would be
That will be very interesting.
changing of the guard. There will be. That's got to go at some point.
I'm very excited for Ethan Strange. He looks really good.
He's fast. He's strong. He
looks really good. The Raiders look really good. They're so much fun to watch. I never thought I'd say that about the Raiders because I hate them. I hate the way they continually win games in ways that don't make sense. But it's working. And it's going away.
Keep going. Ricky's going well. He's always down on the side. It's always cool to see him on the sideline.
Yeah, it's just they had 58. Here's the thing. They had 58% of the ball, and they completed it 90% and ran more meters than the Roosters, and only won by 2.
Yeah.
That's a very Raiders way to win.
Yeah, and that does show how well the Roosters were playing as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Doing all that.
And they only lost by 2.
Yeah.
They completed at 63% or something. They were not good with the ball at all.
And they're still nearly
won. So they are playing well.
complete race up.
The sky's the limit for them.
Yeah, I think the Roosters are. I'm not worried about them this year. I think they could easily make the 8 still.
There's
still leading close.
There's 15 teams that can make the 8, and we're halfway through the year. That's unheard of.
Normally we've worked out who's going to be at least the top 10.
I think the top 4 is almost set. I think it's going to be some combination of what the top 5 is now Unless you want to chuck the Rabbits in there, maybe would be the only one I'd say making a late charge. But
Yeah.
between the
The Cowboys could be in that combo, but you never know.
between the Dogs, Raiders, Warriors, Storm, and Sharks, I think some combination of those five is going to be the top four.
Yeah,
I have no idea which one, but it'll be something like that.
yeah.
I guess we will see. All right,
Okay, on to next week.
moving on. Round 14, opening with what's probably going to be a blowout. Knights Eagles. This will be interesting. Not. This will be a very boring game. However, stat in the Knights' favour, they have won 3 of the past 4 of this matchup at McDonald Jones Stadium, which is where this is. So maybe you can say that Manly don't travel there well.
Manly generally don't travel very well, but I don't see
You go to the
losing.
Twilight Zone this year? I have no idea.
I do not see Manly losing this game. It could be a lot.
It could be a lot. For Newcastle, Caleb Pong is back after being rested after Origin, which doesn't make any sense because I'm certain he wasn't even on the field for most of it. Fletcher Sharp moves back to 5'8". Jack Cogger moves to 7. Leo Thompson's 4-week suspension means that Brodie Jones starts at prop, and debutant alert Elijah Salesa Liam Moana comes off the bench.
That's an interesting.
It's a fun name. I like it. He's apparently a second rower by trade, so I'm interested to see how that goes. Greg Marju is on the extended bench as he looks to come back from whatever injury, shoulder injury? He had some sort of injury.
Yeah.
For Manly, Jake Trbojevic is back, playing lock,
Yeah.
which means Jazz Tavanga moves to the bench, which doesn't make any sense to me because he's been awesome.
Yeah.
And Matt Lodge drops off, which you'll be happy about.
Yes, because that one is.
Josh Alloy is out with a shoulder injury, but he's easily replaced by Sipley, so that's pretty much
Sipley's back, isn't he?
Sipley's back. That's pretty much a like for
I like Sipley.
I do like Sipley.
Yeah.
Newcastle are going too badly for me to tip them to win this.
Newcastle are going to lose, and they're going to lose big. It's going to be at least 30-12, and
Whoa, you're going real. I put Manly 20-10.
yeah, I think it's going to be worse. If Manly play that against
Well, okay, it's the question. Do you think Newcastle or Brisbane are going better right now?
well, that's the question, I suppose. The difference was, I suppose one of the differences is they're not playing at Manly, so that could have a factor.
I guess the argument you can say is that like Manly's weakness is the forward pack, and the only decent forward that Newcastle had is now suspended.
Yeah.
So unless you're hoping that Tyson Frizzell turns into Andrew Fafita for a day,
You know, like Tyson, but yeah, no. No,
you might be right. It might be more than that. I'm just going conservative because the Knights' defense is still good, and Manly scoring 34 points in the absence of Tom Trbojevic, who still isn't in this game, is somewhat of an outlier. So I guess we will see if they've actually figured out the plan where they're heading now, or whether that was just a flash in the pan because Brisbane is so bad.
Yeah, it could be that as well, I guess. We probably shouldn't make those assumptions just because it happens once.
Yeah, I don't know.
If it happens again, then we might think, well, you know.
I think Manly wins. It's a matter of by how much.
Yeah, fair enough.
I think that's fair. Storm Cowboys. At Amy Park, where the Cowboys have not won in the last 4 games. Yeah. To be fair, the last game they played at Amy Park was 6 years ago. It's weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's weird. For Melbourne, Xavier Coates, Harry Grant are back after being rested. Trent Loiero starts after coming off the bench last week. So Bronson Garlick is back to the bench. Farlongo and Joe Chan drop out into the extended. Yeah, well, yeah, it does kind of suck. Cowboys have the same 17 as last week. They're still missing Murray Talangi and Jason Taumalolo. However, I'm not fully convinced that Sam McIntyre is going to play this week. I think he could be a laid out. I guess we'll see how that goes. And Robson even, maybe. Because they both came up with muscle tightness after last week.
I think Robson's was more just being careful. Definitely, because I don't think he had ice on it, but I did see the ice on McIntyre's.
I saw Robson.
Oh, there was?
Yeah.
All right, okay. Look, the argument for the Cowboys winning is this. Melbourne are kind of inconsistent this year. They just played like crap and beat the Titans. You can say that they're going to go into this game thinking, oh, we're just going to beat the Cowboys who are not very good, and the Cowboys get out to a very early lead and they can't draw it back. That's the only way the Cowboys win this game. It's possible. It's possible, but I don't think it's happening. I think Melbourne are going to win like 20.
I don't know whether it's going to be that big, but I think it's going to be tough for the Cowboys to win. I'll obviously tip them in my tipping because I don't tip against my team.
I think what's going to happen is that John Bateman played so well last week that he's going to come up against Ali Qatar and concede a hat trick.
I don't think that's going
He's
to
gonna
be.
score a hat trick.
John Bateman's not going to score a hat trick against Melbourne. I will eat my hat if that happens.
Yeah,
It's
okay.
not going to be any.
Hold me to that. If John Bateman scores a hat trick, I will film myself eating a hat.
You might just die. That's okay.
That's fine. If Cowboys beat Melbourne in Melbourne, I may as well.
It's even too much danger.
Well, good luck to the Cowboys. It's going to be tough, right? We know it's going to be tough. However, the half pairing did look a little better against the Tigers, so
Yeah.
maybe they'll get a little bit
More than a little better to be.
I know. But like you say, Melbourne have been a bit inconsistent, so maybe if we get the inconsistent one,
I mean,
that's a
if
possibility.
the Cowboys are leading at halftime, Greg Bellamy might just choke all of his players.
I'm certain that he picked out 3 or 4 players that have been underperforming the past couple of weeks, and going into games, he just kind of holds them hostage in the training sheds and says, if you play like crap, I'm going to deport them to Peru. So,
Yeah, I think
Why Peru?
it'll be tough for North Queensland, but they do have a chance.
they have a chance. It's a small one.
Yeah.
I can see it happening because the Cowboys have kind of played well against Melbourne the past couple of years, but it's all been up here. So this is different.
It is. 6 years.
They might freeze to death.
Well, that could be possible.
Because
As
it's
well.
June now.
It's Melbourne.
Yeah, I guess we'll see.
Okay.
Okay. Dolphins Dragons at Suncorp.
This is an interesting game.
This is one I'm interested in.
I think the Dolphins can win
Yeah.
this.
We'll see. These two have only played 4 games against each other because the Dolphins have only existed for 2 years. They're split. For the Dolphins, Hamaso's back, which is
Maybe
maybe good, maybe not.
Yeah.
So Jake Averillo goes to centre and Max Fierney drops to the reserves.
Talking about Rocks and Diamonds players, Hamaso is one of them.
Jeremy Marshall-King and Max Platt are both named in the reserves for the Dolphins. So they'll try and get back from.
Speaking of Max Platt, that's another person that my teacher friend talked about. He could be the person who starts at 9 and lets Harry Grant,
Queensland, hey?
and lets Harry Grant come on after 20 minutes or so.
I think Reed Martin would
Hey, that
Platt can also play
13.
13
Or back row, even.
row, yeah. So that's possible.
If it's going to happen, it'll happen in game 3. Only if New South Wales win game 2. Because game 3, then Billy will just throw stuff at the wall and bring in all a bunch of random people just to see how it goes, I think. I guess we will see how that goes.
But yeah, anyway, that was just a name that we bandied around as well. So
I don't hate that, actually. For the Dragons, Luciano Leilua starts in the second row with Jaden Stewart out with, I think, an ankle problem, which sucks for him. Brian Faitala-Mariner joins the bench. Kristen Tuipulotu is back, and he replaces Tyrell Sloan. Yeah, one thing I found with this is that in every single one of the games, one team scores 26 or more points. All the games that have been played outside New South Wales, the Dolphins have won. This is at Suncorp. I'm going to pick the Dolphins.
I think the Dolphins have a lot of attack in them. I think Christian Wolf's got them going not too badly.
It's not too bad, yeah.
They just need a few, like some teams, they need more forwards. The back line.
They also need Jeremy Marshall-King back.
Well, he's very useful. He's a very good player.
They have been pretty injury-prone this year with such, because now they're missing Tom Gilbert as well. All a disaster.
But yeah, I think the Dolphins win maybe
28-14 is my
I
prediction.
think they've got 2 and a bit tries. That's interesting.
Well, someone scores 26 plus, unless you think the Dragons are going to score a lot of points.
Maybe 28-20.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, just
Go to things. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Quite possibly what's going to be game of the round, Sharks Warriors.
the Warriors are going to win this.
At Shark Park, the Sharks have lost the past 2 games against the Warriors at Shark Park. If you remember last year, the script writers went bazinga and decided that Sean Johnson would get his perfect send-off.
Yeah.
by finishing 14th.
Yeah.
Try
But
to finish.
beating the previous team that he played for
Yeah.
with his home country team. So
So,
that was good.
Ronaldo Militalo is suspended for some reason, for being a turd.
Probably for being an idiot.
But that's conveniently fixed by the fact that Sione Katoa is back, which I'm very happy about because I like Sione Katoa. He's really cool. So he can
Apparently Katoa means you can play for
Sione Katoa's one play for Penrith and it was terrible.
Fair enough.
It's like a returning Zelensky actually think, oh yeah, this is Dallas great. Malachi was not that good.
No, family.
And the Fafitas, I suppose. It's all like that. The Hoppawatis, all the big footballing families. There's a few of them.
The just breed.
Hugo, okay?
Hugo has something bad. I guess we'll see how.
The female Hopawati that plays as well, doesn't she?
We'll have to wait to see how Jet Cleary goes in 5 years.
No, I think he'll be as good as his brother.
Well, he's kind of in the Warriors system, so we'll see how that goes. For the Sharks, also Teague Wilton is back. I'm very happy with that because I like him. So Billy Burns moves to the 18th spot. With Mitch Barnett's season-ending injury, Jackson Ford starts and Jacob Laban joins the bench. Rocco Berry did his hamstring, so Kurt Capewell moves to the centres. Lecca Halasina starts, and
I've got him in my fantasy, so hopefully
what's his name? Tanner Stowers Smith joins the bench as well. So
Zombie names I've
this is gonna be
never
We've
heard
got
of.
the Anfield Black Revenge game. So that'll be fun. He'll have a point to prove. It's no origin problems. This is a barn burner. Good old-fashioned barn burner.
Lots of
On paper, I do think that the Sharks have a significant advantage now that Mitch Barnett's out. I think that changes things a lot. I'm going to give the Sharks an advantage for this one. It'll be close. I just think that, Adam Fanua-Blake has a point to prove. The Sharks are coming off a bye. I think they'll get up.
Because that works so well for Brisbane. Coming off a bye.
Cronulla are better than Brisbane.
Well, that might be the case, but the Warriors are also better than Manly.
True.
So
I don't know. I'm going with Cronulla.
I'm going to go with the Warriors and upset.
Otherwise,
I don't know whether it's an upset, actually. They'd almost be equal odds, I reckon. Because I had trouble figuring out who I was going to pick for this one.
Let me ever see if Sportsbet have it up on the site.
It's very possible.
I wish I had a phone so I can check this.
No, you don't.
Haha.
Excuse me, that's not how you speak to me. You've been.
You need to be more eloquent. Do the shutting of the upper earth.
Let's have a look. No.
Loud off.
Please shoot.
No, I don't have anything.
Okay, hold on. Let me bring up. Okay, we'll start talking about Broncos Titans, which is going to be a good old fashioned boost.
This might be the game that the Broncos can actually get a win.
Such a battle. It could also be the game that the Titans end up getting a win in. So this game is going to be weird,
It's
man.
going to be horrible.
For Brisbane, Reece Walsh is back.
Don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but Reece Walsh is back.
He's back. Right.
Woo!
No.
Well, there was much rejoicing not.
Cronulla are $1.45 favourites against the Warriors 275.
That's not right.
I'd have to put one on the Warriors. That seems like free money.
I think Sportsbet is stupid.
So Walsh is back, which means Arthurs moves to the wing and Dean Mariner drops out. They've
Because Dean Marin's not bad.
They've reshuffled the forward pack. Corey Jensen is starting at prop.
Alright.
Carrigan moves to lock. Kobe Hetherington is now on the bench.
Payne's still the same.
Yeah, he's still there. Brendan Piakura starts with Xavier Wilson coming off the bench. It kind of feels like shuffling deck chairs, but I don't hate it per se. I like Corey Jensen.
He's very solid, right?
He's extremely solid.
Yeah.
He's
almost
almost
like a
Haas.
Matt Scotty type.
To complement Payne Haas, I feel like that's a
Yeah.
fairly good idea.
He's just solid. He'll run hard. You know what you get with Corey.
Yeah,
So.
I don't hate it. AJ Brimson is still out with concussion, and now with Joseph Fafita breaking his hand, Alan Fitzgibbon comes in on the wing and Sammy moves to centre.
He just called Jason Tamalolo.
Alan Fitzgibbon, great beard. He has a great beard.
Oh, him, yeah.
Sam Verrills also broke his hand. It's 2 broken hands for the
Jason
Titans.
Tamalolo. In
So,
different ways.
Mulaney starts at hooker. Tiny Tino is also gone. He's replaced on the bench by Arama Howe. The Broncos have lost 5 of the last 7 games against the Titans at Suncorp.
That's pretty sad. Really.
If the Titans,
And then 6 from 7 losing.
if the Titans are going to get a win to try and get the season back on track, is this week. I'm tipping the Titans
Yeah.
by it's 30-20 is my prediction. Lots of points.
Yeah.
I hope the Titans win just because,
Stuff
everybody
hates
Brisbane.
For the Titans, it is now or never.
Yeah.
If they don't get a win now, it's done.
And this could be, if they do get a win, it could be curtains for the Broncos season as well.
It's also this is
Yeah.
one of these teams.
I think so. Brisbane need to
Come on,
stop the
Gold Coast.
slide, and the Gold Coasters need to get something off the bottom.
I'll be rooting the crap out of it.
Yeah, go on, let's go, the Gold Coast.
Titans.
We hate Brisbane.
It's going so good.
We hate Brisbane.
I don't hate Brisbane. I hate them for man. I object to rooting for the
I also hate Reese
on
Walsh.
principle.
Yeah.
I hate Reese Walsh. Stupid.
Raiders Bunnies at GIO.
Raiders are going to win this.
This will be interesting.
Raiders are going to win.
Josh Papali'i officially will become the most capped Canberra Raider of all time. Congrats to an absolute legend.
Yeah, he is such a good player.
I love him.
He's still going well.
He's still trucking.
Not the DCE. He's
He
just
played
getting
too many minutes on
fine
the weekend,
line.
but you know, I guess you have to try and get him on when he tied the record. He's going to play 60 minutes this week. He's going to play so many minutes.
Or he's
this
going
week.
to play 20 minutes.
They are going to get him that try. Come the hell or high water.
Or
I'm
he's,
telling you.
or he's going to play 20 minutes and then get injured.
I hope not.
Me-
Don't wish.
I'm not
Don't put that into the universe.
wishing that.
Don't put Josh Papali'i getting injured.
I'm saying
He's
that.
barely ever got injured. That's why he's done 312 games.
For 319 now.
Yeah,
I think.
19.
This will be 319.
So he's obviously barely ever got injured. So
The stuff he did for Queensland was
Yeah.
awesome. He's such a legend. I love
I think the Raiders are going too well at the moment. I don't see them. Although, like we said with the Bulldogs at the start of the year, they won the first 5 and then lost pretty badly against Brisbane.
also for the Raiders. So Papali'i is starting at prop because I guess they want him to run out on his last one. That's probably fair. So Corey Horsburgh moves to lock, and Morgan Smithies is coming off the bench.
I don't hate it.
I don't hate it either. Jamal Fogarty is back after missing last week with that groin complaint.
And that should really give them more attacks. So
Yeah, exactly. For the Bunnies, Jack Whiten and Cody Walker are back. Huge for them.
cool. Just annoy them.
Corey Osborne's going to have a field day.
Because you know one of them definitely doesn't do well being in
If you can piss off Cody Walker, you're gonna get pretty good results.
the game generally.
Walker partners Jamie Humphreys in the halves, and Jack Whiten takes Isaiah Tass's place at centre. He moves to the wing, and Bailey Bentley Harpy drops out, which is good because he's terrible. He's not good.
No, well, he was looking pretty injured by the end of last week.
Drops out along with Jai Gray, who moves to the reserves, which funnily enough, I'm fine with because I don't think he's good off the bench. He's a fullback or bust for mine, Jai Gray, so I think that's fine. His bench spot is taken by Bud Sullivan, who's moved for Cody Walker. Liam LeBlanc joins the bench and plays Davin Wiley, which I like because I like him. This could be a very good game, I'm saying. This could be a very good game.
There could be a very.
Could be a one-sided
Last
game as
game.
well. That's it.
Yeah, I think that Canberra's forward pack is too good.
Yeah.
Even with the nostalgia bait of having a 34-year-old Josh Papali'i starting, I think their forward pack is too good. I think Joe Tapney could be in for a very big day. I'm giving it to the Raiders by somewhere between 6 and 10 points.
Yeah, the Raiders win. I just think they're just going to be too good.
The Raiders have won 5 of their last 7 at GIO against the Bunnies. I think I'm going to give it to the Raiders.
Yeah, it'll be 6 after this weekend. Yeah,
Raiders are good, man.
they are.
Very good.
They have to be up there with the favourites for the competition.
I put them up there, yeah. I looked at the premiership odds that the NRL had. Like,
If Penrith are still somewhere in the top 4 for that, they need to be shocked.
Let's see how much it's changed. So you got the Bulldogs who are 450. You got Melbourne who are 275. I don't know how they're
Well, that's still
better odds.
Yeah.
What? Penrith are sitting at $23. Brisbane are sitting at $21, which is the same odds as Manly.
And that's better than the Cowboys.
That's better than the Cowboys who are paying $61.
What? That's just stupid.
Although I don't necessarily disagree with that, to be fair.
You got Brisbane ahead of
I don't disagree with the Cowboys having that poor odds. I disagree with Brisbane having that much better odds and Penrith having that much better odds. It's stupid. The Roosters are paying $46, which is quite high, I imagine, compared to what they were paying at the start of the year. It's interesting. We love the Brisbane bias, don't we? It's everywhere. Burgundy bias.
And we just
Kick them out of the comp. Do a Souths on them. Just like open the door. Do like a Moe's Tavern on them.
Stop one of them on. I want to punch one of them in their stupid brown face.
you're this big.
Or the burgundy jersey face.
Yeah, okay, gotcha.
Nice save.
I
Nice save. Yeah, I'm expecting the Raiders to get up. Not even because they're a better team, just because Josh Papali'i. They're going to get up to the big fella. It's going to happen. They did the same thing for Jared Croker, I think, as well. So
They're going to win, and I don't think it's going to be quite as close as you think. I think they're going to win pretty comfortably.
I think the Rabbitohs' attack will be good enough to keep them in check. But the Raiders' defense is pretty good. So it'll be like the Rabbits will have quite a bit of field position, but they won't be able to do much with it, and that will take away some of the Raiders' attacking opportunities. Is how I think the game is going to
Okay,
go.
well, that's possible. I also think it's possible the Raiders just come out.
I am, however, expecting KO Weeks to have a runaway try in this one. He'll have a 70-meter line break or something and dance around Latrell Mitchell. It'll make him look stupid.
Which will be nice.
Thanks for sure.
All right, then. Tigers Penrith at Combank. So this
Not a home game.
So this is somehow a home game for neither of these teams at a state. No, I mean, it's technically a Tigers home game. But in my opinion, this is a home game for neither of these teams, despite the fact that it's technically a home ground for both of these teams. That's how I describe this game.
It is Parramatta home ground. Find your own.
Well, it's not like Penrith can play
They don't have
collisions, so
They don't
to play at Leichhardt,
The
Tigers
Tigers could play at Leichhardt and or Campbelltown.
play at Leichhardt for the majority of the year. They'll make the 8 all the time. They play so well there.
Triangle there.
So these guys haven't played each other at Combank for obvious reasons. But Penrith have won 5 of their last 7 against the Tigers. So that's at least a start. For the Tigers, Heath Mason has held on to the 5/8 jersey.
Because he played
Despite the fact that Lachie Fine was healthy, he's coming in the 14 jersey. So, which he has done before. It's not strange to him, so I don't hate it. Jarrell Skelton is also back. That's good for them. I do like Jarrell Skelton. He removes Charlie Staines. Alex Twil's concussion means that Alex Seyfarth goes to lock and Tony Sukkar starts. I forgot to talk about him, so I have no idea who he is, but he's ripping the Cowboys' edge apart. So I'm interested to see how he goes here. Kit Laulili'i is...
What was that again?
Kit Laulili'i, I think is how it's pronounced.
Fair enough.
And debutant alert, Charlie Murray for the Tigers.
Yes, that's why.
Charlie Murray. Yes.
He's
The
going to score
white
a try.
game ever.
Penrith named the same 17 and beat Parramatta. This game is entirely a matter of who's more vindictive, the former Panthers or the actual Panthers. I think it's the actual Panthers. Simply because I do think the Tigers are worse when they don't have Lockie Galvin and they don't have it. So, Panthers by 4.
I wouldn't say.
I think it'll be a good game, though. I think the Tigers will be up for it simply because.
However, if the Tigers don't get anybody sin bin and they play the majority of this game like they did the last 20 minutes against the Cowboys, they'll win by 20.
Yeah, they're going to do that.
They need to do that.
Tigers are the former Panthers. I'd say the Bulldogs are the former Panthers. They have Matt Burton.
Both.
Tigers like poached 3 Panthers in 1 off season.
Well, to be fair, the Bulldogs have Liam Kickout, Matt Burton,
Stephen Crichton.
Stephen Crichton.
I think that's it.
I think that's it.
Happy Coruscant.
Jerome Luai.
Jerome Luai. Senior Taruva.
Charles Staines.
Yeah, I think the Tigers had more.
The Tigers have more.
But I don't know that the Tigers have the personnel to win, but I'd like to see them win.
Go Penrith.
No, go Tigers. I'm
Why
not,
are you rooting for the Tigers?
I'm not tipping the Tigers to win, but I would like them to win.
I feel it. Or Penrith to win.
No, I
Go
think
Penrith.
Penrith can suck a toe.
That's that.
Their own toe.
Let me first.
It's less gross than somebody else.
Flexibility.
I
Caleb could do that.
would regret sucking it and stuff.
Final game around. Dogs Eels.
That's gonna be a blowout.
We have the Lockie Galvin sweepstakes winner and loser playing each other in the week that Lockie Galvin switches clubs. However, he is named in jersey number 22. So he may not even play this week. And this was like a legitimate decision that Cameron Serraldo was saying in the lead up to this. He's like, I'm not going to play him immediately. He's going to come through the system a little bit.
Well, that's probably
If Toby Sexton doesn't just phone it in and force his hand. So I guess we will see how that goes. They've split the last 4 games at Accor, where this is. It's a pretty interesting contest because whatever team you expect to win this matchup doesn't. That's what I've learned from the past couple of years of these matchups. Because I remember it was the year that Parramatta made the grand final. I think it was 2022. And the Bulldogs came out and beat them 32-6. And everyone was uber confused. So I am not ruling out at all the possibility that the Eels come out and beat the crap out of them.
I don't think that's going to happen.
I don't think it will happen, but I'm not ruling it out completely.
No. Moses needs to have like a 12 out of 10 game.
The argument for the Bulldogs is that they get Stephen Crichton, Max King, Kurt Mann, Jacob Carraz, and Daniel Saluk-Fafita all back. Huge contingent returns for them. That's really, really good.
Yeah.
For the Eels, penis is back in the centres, which is good. I have to make the joke. I'm sorry. He has the word penis in his name.
I don't care.
Hi. You've made it worse for yourself. By trying to spell his entire name, you have made it worse for yourself.
Spell anything. I just said his name. I'm sorry, Will. My son's an idiot.
It's funny. I'm sure he's laughed at it before. I can guarantee that going through school, he had more jokes about that than you can imagine. I can guarantee it. But he's back, which is good, which pushes Jordan Samrani to the bench and Joash Papali'i to the 18th man. Good pickup in fantasy. Numpty.
Well, I picked him up because he was cheap. So get rid of him.
He played one game, then came off the bench, and now he's on the bench. We'll see.
Well, I will change him up again for another cheapie.
Just go get Latu Fainu. That's the easy answer. For the Eels, also, Kelma Tuolangi is named to start and Marie is named off the bench. However, they late swapped before last week's game. I'm expecting something similar again. I know there are lots of rumours of unrest from Bulldogs players about the looking at one thing. Maybe that plays on them a little bit.
Well, if you're not playing it, I think it's big.
I think the Dogs win.
Yeah, the Dogs win.
But I am not ruling out the possibility that the Eels come out and beat the crap out of them.
I don't believe that's happening. I think the Dogs win comfortably.
Yeah. I've got them winning by 10.
I would probably have them by at least 18.
Interesting. Do you think Parramatta are that bad?
Yes.
All right, then. Sure.
They have one player that's good.
A couple of players.
They have a couple of players that's good, but if one player decides that he's not good one day, they're just going to lose. Yeah, if Moses
it doesn't help that they don't know how to use one of their best players.
Mitchell Moses has an off day, they will lose and lose egregiously.
I haven't had the opportunity to read about Jermaine Hopgood.
It's going to be another battle of the boots because we've got Burton versus Moses.
I just realised we're going to see so many Burton bombs.
Oh dear!
Oh no, Isaiah Iongi is going to have nightmares.
Oh, this guy has the biggest boot in the competition.
If there's any time to do it, it's when you're up against Mitch Moses. You want to get in their head and say, anything you can do, you have what people call the best kicker. I am going to kick you to death by sending nukes at you.
I'm like Mitchell Moses, just 10% better with my kick.
He's going to start burning. He's going to burn up on re-entry. That's going to happen.
I mean, I think there was a big one last week from Moses. It went miles in the sky.
Latrell's done a couple of those as well. So he's definitely not the only one. But
I think Burton does the best of those floaty type bombs and
his
floaty type bombs. And
yeah, it's got it down to a science, hasn't it?
One of the origin that Paul Carroll had zero chance of catching.
No chance of catching, which was worse.
Yeah.
I think the Dogs will win.
The Dogs will win. Parramatta will give a good. They always do. You can never doubt their effort. I just think there'll be a bit more polish in the Dogs than the Eels, and they'll have enough to get it done. And they'll probably be close for a while, and I think they'll just go away with it at the end.
Yeah, that's fair. I think I agree with that. Yeah. Alrighty, cool. That's the week done.
Nice. I don't want to saw this, but tell me why Jerome May made a bet with his Queensland mate to say if he was picked in the Origin squad, his mate would have to wear the Blues jersey.
Oh yeah, then he told him to throw out the Blues jersey because he wasn't going to get picked. Why is that a problem?
I don't know. I just found that.
That was like 3 weeks ago. Get with the program.
Well, we haven't actually been doing this since then, so it's like
no, that's true. We're gonna get some
momentum going again.
Yeah.
Well, thanks everyone. Good luck. I hope your team does well, unless you're the Melbourne Storm
I'm
fan.
completely happy with saying that because I hate Melbourne.
Yes. I don't mind Melbourne, but I don't like them when they're playing the Cowboys. So that's how it works.
All right. That's guys.
Bye.